Hello? Hello, hello? Hello? Hello, hello? I think my volume's low, or is it? Hello? Oh, never mind, my mic's slow. I think my volume's low, or is it? Okay, should be good now. Should be good. All right. Let me hop in the Discord for a little bit. All right. We disable this. Screen looks good. All right. So a few things I wanted to do today. So first, just go over the tournament, and then in around 45 minutes, we'll be streaming a live league game versus Bean Easley. We're both playing factions we're not the most comfortable with, so it should be fun one. I'm playing Tundra Orcs. Bean is playing Guild Dwarves. Yeah, it's a good day to do this because tomorrow the tournament starts, and I don't want to spoil anything about the tournament. So I probably won't be able to stream for until the games are done. Uh, Maybe I'll stream this weekend, but I just have to be very careful not showing my history or anything like that. All right, so let's see it. Ooh, there was a three-way tiebreaker uh, for Division B. Who was gonna face EOT in the finals? Did any of them beat? So Rupel lost to EOT, but that said, uh, Frat Angelo, that's a great name, Frat Angelo, uh, did beat EOT. So it should be a fun finals. Let's see. Oh, cool. There's so many new players which are doing so well. Very cool to see. Should we go over win rates? I guess we could go over them quickly. The problem is they're just so low sample size. Let's see if anything stands out. Fallen Kingdoms being 4-11 is kind of nuts. I think that's the main thing so far. Filth being 13-1. I feel they're just destroying this bracket. I think Filth ended up close to 50-50 in the upper bracket, or in the Division A, which is interesting. Anything else stand out really? Skyspear Ravens are exactly 50-50. It's kind of cool to see. Shadow Elves are doing decently. Much better than in Division 1. I don't think there's too many Shadow Elves in the last pool of Division 1. I'll check quickly. Drake's on being 50-50 is kind of cool to see. Yeah. I think it's hard to say anything else because it's just low sample size. Hard to know anything else. All right. Let's look at Division A, the final standings. The final faction standings. I'm debating making some more tea. I think I'm not going to do it. No more caffeine this late. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep well. All right. So in terms of overall win rate, Breakers stay at 18%, but no Breakers players made it to the last round. Same thing with Cave Goblins, which is hilarious because I think that means Cave Goblins are the most winning faction in terms of win percentage. Even though everyone who played them did not get into the last two pools. Cloaks being high 50s, Crimson Order being around 50-50. Deep Grokes. This is the faction which I really being recommended. I do a deep dive on some factions, especially factions which are underplayed, or I feel like not many people play. And I'm super interested to see how people play Deeper Grokes. I'm not the most knowledgeable about them, especially after the nerfs, but it's really cool to see so many players doing well with them, especially in the last pool. So at some point I'll do like a very deep dive, just go through a bunch of the replays. Um, I think that's a cool idea. Another faction potentially would be Shimmersy Fae, of course, is a cool one. To look into how people played them and did well with them. Um, hmm. Yeah, and then I'm open for suggestions. High Elves would be another cool one. A little more of the technical factions, which very less people play. Let's say it that way. Eternal Council had a really nice comeback. Early on, they were in like the high 30s, and now they're exactly 50-50. I think it's due to I forgot. I was watching a podcast about the Filth, and apparently Eternal Council have a very good matchup into the Filth. Um, just one, they have a push mechanic, which is always good. You can get them outside of Demigog's 3 spaces to prevent Demigog from getting boost. Then you also have multiple different ways of dealing with high health targets. So I have to play that matchup at some point. It sounds like fun. I think Eternal Council is another faction I would probably do a deep dive on. I think they're super cool. Ever since Lime, I started watching Lime games, I just realized how fun this faction is and how powerful they can be. Too bad Lime didn't make the final 3 groups. They had a good tournament run though. I think they were very close to making it. I think they're like 3rd place or something. Okay, but still, they had a good. I know the pool before and round 1 they had a very tough pool and they were still able to make it top 2 or even top 1. I forget. What did they play? SC, EC, CH, and SO. Okay, not bad. Ooh, I need to watch the CH win against Shadow Elves. It's one of those matchups which doesn't seem like it'd be good for Tree, but me and other people have reported that like it seems actually pretty decent. Okay, going back onto win percentages. Fallen Kingdoms did well after a slow start. Started picking up, I think, as better players started, or not better players, I shouldn't say that, but more experienced players started playing them. Filth being so low is nuts to me, especially because it's as the tournament went on. It could just people just know how to play against them a lot more in the higher groups. Forge 50-50 is cool to see. Fungal Doors being 50-50. I will say they didn't make the finals, but Solitaire is a beast. Like Solitaire is such a good player. Also, the fact that they almost made the finals, literally just like tiebreaker away from winning the finals, by playing Gill Dwarves, Fungal Dwarves, Frogs, and Tree. Like at least 3 of these factions are never thought to be like S tier. Like Fungal Dwarves, Tree, and Frogs, and almost making the finals. That's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. So credit to Solitaire. Literally just 1 match away, 1 loss away. So we'll definitely have to be watching some of their Tree games and their Frog games throughout the tournament. Yeah, Fungal Doors has done a lot better this tournament. I wonder if it's because just the shift in meta of what decks people bring, or if it's just just a byproduct of small numbers. High Elves did very well. We'll have to watch some of those replays. I think High Elves also have the factor of very experienced players bringing them, as well as they're a faction you don't see much, so they kind of have a little bit of surprise factor into players who haven't seen them. I think for more experienced players who have played longer, they've seen a lot of High Elves in the past, but especially for newer players, probably seeing comparing like a very good High Elves player versus like a newer one is it's pretty drastic, the skill difference. It's a very good deck, it's just so complicated. A brain burner. Vargath doing very well, 55%. Great to see. Phoenix Elves, I think, a little bit lower than they should be. I think Phoenix Elves ideally, I'd say like low 40s, mid to low 40s. I think Phoenix Elves should be. 37% is pretty low, though. I think they're one of the more predictable factions. And I think you do have to summon Fire Drake. especially in higher level matches. I think Fire Drake is just one of the best cards in the deck. Yeah, I will say I think I took like a break for like half a year for Summoner Wars, or maybe not half a year, but like a third of a year. Last year, uh, and when I came back, I started playing a lot of Phoenix Elves, and I think it was very helpful. Just like it teaches you a lot of good fundamentals. The units are pretty straightforward, but they just have a lot of cool combos. Also, that deck really teaches you how to place gates and how to protect your summoner. So, highly recommend Phoenix Elves to anyone who wants to play them. Just a very fun deck, and I think they're very good for teaching fundamentals without the complexities other factions have. Polar Dwarves had a comeback also, went up to 42% after being, I think, 20% at some point. Sand Goblin's doing amazingly. They always do really well later in the tournament, just as a lot of more Sand Goblin specialists play them. Savannah Elves 50-50, Shadow Elves 50-50. Yeah, those two are interesting. I think everyone expects them to be a little higher, both of them probably like mid 50s, maybe even 60%. But yeah, not a lot of people bring Shadow. I mean, people did bring Shadow Elves. But yeah, it's a very hard deck to play. Or you need a lot of reps with it, similar to Guild Dwarves. And also, Shadow Elves doesn't have the surprise factor like the new factor that Guild Dwarves have, so a lot more people know to play against Shadow Elves than Guild Dwarves. Savannah Elves, I think, is a deceptively. I know Chibata reps for them, and I agree with him that it's a really good deck to learn. Either because they're one of the best decks in the game, but it is a relatively complicated deck to play. Similar to Isle Vikid, they have a very hard economy. They are one of the strongest decks in the game, but also they just are. When you play like top tier players, it's a harder deck to play. But still 50-50. Faye being 50-50 is ridiculous. Credit to everyone who bring them. And did well with them. Ending the tournament 50-50. Hopefully I can make it 50, or slightly below 50-50. Or if Exile wins, he can make it slightly above 50-50, which would be great. So that's kind of a fun last game with the Faye this tournament to decide whether it goes above or below 50%. If Exile beats me or if I beat Exile when he's playing the Fae. Storm Goblins, let's go. No matter what happens, they'll still be above 50%. Really cool. Avians being 50-50. Dang, that's really cool. Swamp Orcs doing well. Tundra Orcs ending up in a good spot. Vanguards is surprising. I think there was a little bit of hype around them because they got a lot of buffs. That said, it could just be fundamentally they still. They're just a very hard deck, I think, to. They're a very straightforward deck, and they have like one of the best events in the game, which is Renewed Hope, which you can do some crazy things with. But I think they are kind of a hard deck to play, to be honest. You really need to know positioning. They're another deck kind of like Phoenix Elves. If you want to learn fundamentals, highly recommend them. And I also do think that they do have a tough time to lava decks. They still, even with the buffs, I think have a little bit of could use slightly more love. Celeste for for ranged dice. No, I'm kidding. That'd be broken. Trying to think what I would do. Hey Nestle, how you doing? I'm just going over the win rates. Went over the Div B and now going over Div A. Highlights for me so far is Faye being 50-50 is kind of nuts. Lots of credit. I'm not sure if you saw this, Nestle. Just let you have 5 AV for real. True. Solitaire is like literally like one game away from making the finals, and they bring Guild Dwarves, Fungal Dwarves, Frogs, and Tree. Like that's absurd. Like that's so cool that they almost made the finals. We'll definitely be watching a lot of their games in the future. I really want to learn the Frogs. I think for our next tournament. I think Frogs are so cool when I watch them. But yeah, that's an absurd lineup to go 7-1 with in the final pool, especially because this pool is damn hard. Like they have Exile, Aaron, Davoud, Snag. I'm just mentioning Purse Warden. I know there's other players here, but I don't know them from name recognition. Q Blad, so I don't know. I think are they a new player? Yeah, they look new. Very cool. Very cool to see. And then Bado, I've seen that name before, but I just never Not sure how long they've been playing for. Yeah, they're relatively new also. Damn. So sick. Uh, anyways, going forward, Wayfarers. I think this is probably one of the most surprising things that Wayfarers. One, not a lot of people. I mean, they do have a lot of plays, but comparatively to like last tournament and the terms before, Wayfarers are usually one of the highest brought factions. Um, and yeah, again, 12 games doesn't really mean much difference, but at the same time, it is pretty nuts. Frogs are kind of like polar doors where they're cool, but not many people play them because they don't have many exciting combos. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, they're much slower faction than most others because you have to build up the boost economy. But I do think all their champions are super duper cool, and I think that they're like you could argue that Swift Potion is one of the most broken events in the game. Like it's definitely up there, for most busted event in the game. Like you can do like surprising amounts of damage with that faction. I forgot which game I was watching, but you can still do the if you have strong and swift potion, you can do like down a lane like 15 dice or something nuts. Uh, 15 dice? Can you do 15 dice? I guess it matters what you mattering if you have a warrior in the front or not. But yeah, I think frogs are underrated. I think they're really good, but they just are slow. And also, I think they're just very hard to you have to play reps with them. Um, yeah, I think Swift Potion is like one of the coolest designs because the design card is definitely busted, but it makes sense in that deck where it kind of needs some spice. Like frogs do need some spice, and Swift Potion gives it. And even then, like Swift Potion takes forever to like boost economy is a lot slower than it used to be. Um, yeah, but going back to Wayfarers, yeah, surprising that they did so poorly this tournament. Usually they do well and then taper off later, but less people bring them. Chosen Grove, low player number, but still solid. I don't really take too much account. This is basically 50-50 to me, based off the 8-game discrepancy doesn't mean much to me. Spectral Conclave is absurd. I think one of the only reasons I made it to the finals is I didn't face too many Spectral Conclaves. Like I think that's a direct reason why I made it so far is literally because I didn't have to play Spectral Conclave once. Um, I just haven't actually too many reps against them, and they're just a very strong deck. Lots of different tools. Um, Al Vikid doing well is so cool to see. Also, a lot of people bring them. Drake's on being 50-50, literally one game difference. Very cool. Gildor's also. Good job, Shrez. It seems like you were the dark horse all along. True. True. Actually, I'll play the game. Basically, I ended up going to the finals because of a coin flip. I can show that game now. Askril is really good. I actually was expecting them. Askril is one of those. His name doesn't pop up much, but he was in the finals for um, custom decks twice in a row. And for anyone who doesn't know, like custom deck games are, especially when Blood Summon was a thing, like you have to be really good at the game to make it to the finals in custom deck tournaments. Just because like the amount of like mental, like the amount of brain thinking you have to do is nuts in these games. Uh, so yeah, Askel's really good. And so I can show you the game quickly. Yeah, Askel's really good. I think they just were a custom deck tournament. Sorry, not base deck, custom deck winner. Because they have two trophies from custom decks. One deck to rule them all, 2 and 3. Yeah, like being a double second place is nuts. Like for a custom deck, I think that's as impressive, if not more impressive than. No, it's as impressive to me. I shouldn't say more impressive. It's in a certain way, it is as impressive, if not more impressive, to do that as it is to win one of those. Like that's absurd. Like custom deck games are. I mean, maybe just because I don't play it, but from the outside looking in, like custom deck games are nuts. Especially back when Blood Summon, what was the Zeal Blood Summon? Just like those turns are so thinky. You have to be good to do well with them. Baskel's, yeah, a sick player. Um, but anyways, I was playing. I think this matchup is pretty even, if not Sand Goblin's favorite, if I had to guess. Unfortunately, they had to play. What do you say? Unfortunately, they had to play SA into IV, so I didn't get to see them shine. Yeah, that's a brutal matchup. I think that's one of the worst matchups in the game. The birds do not like the lizards. That's a brutal matchup. Nessie, you'll be proud. I'm playing against Bean later today, and I'm playing the Tundra Orcs in Live League, so you'll be able to see my my progress with your favorite faction, or one of your favorite factions, I guess now. This was a little bit unfortunate dice by them. It took them all 3 attacks to kill the rider. That said, killing this wrench is not. It ended up mattering, but I think at the time it didn't matter to me too much, especially because they used an event to do it. So just getting Biter in the middle of here. Sadly, don't get the 3 for 3. And then here, this is an interesting choice. I think the idea here is that I could try to get this magic from the Wormling. But to be honest, I want to keep this gate spot open. Was kind of the idea. Especially because I wanted this wrench to go over on Brimstorm, because I thought this was a kind of a cool idea, where basically Pyra and Brimstorm are always attached to each other. So if I can actually wrench Brimstorm, like, there's a good chance that this will be one free damage on Pyra eventually. And I don't want the main reason is I don't want another unit being here, Brimstorm going up, hitting Krusk in the face was the idea here. Yeah. Also, getting damage on Brimstorm is important in this matchup, because 6 damage I can easily do to Brimstorm. Versus, yeah. So I think getting damage on Brimstorm is super important here, especially because I already have double turret upgrade. So if Brimstorm just charges Rambo in, there's a good chance I can kill him next turn. Or her. I'm not sure if Brimstorm's a he or a she. So yeah, do that. He has the... So I have 3 dragons now. So basically all my cards get cleared this turn. This was an interesting push-in by Pyra. I'm not sure if I agree with this decision. That said, I could definitely see why you go for it. The main reason I don't agree with this decision is I already have 2 turrets up. So Pyra's going to take a lot of damage this turn. That said, I don't disagree with it, especially because let's look what their hand is right now. They do have a Blazing Speed and they do have a Rain of Fire, so I think their idea is that they can always just push back, worst case. Oh, let's see here. Do they have the Blazing Speed here? They did have the Blazing Speed before they discard. So I guess the idea here, this makes a lot more sense. So the idea is, chunk Krusk and then get Pyra. Pyra should be on the other side of the board next turn if things go really sour. Okay, that makes more sense. Seeing their hand, it makes more sense to me. So this turn, the idea is just to punish as much as possible Pyra and Brimstorm, as well as I need to kill this Wormling now, because I don't want Krusk to be attacked from 2 sides here, or 3 sides potentially with Brimstorm. So this Wormling needs to die. The cool thing about this is that I can also, from a more eco standpoint, I always like doing this, always scavenging before turreting, that way, or before motoring, sorry. The reason why you do that is so if my next card is, for example, a Thruster, I don't want Thruster to be in the graveyard. I want whatever I get scavenged, whatever, a Rider or a Biter or Gate, whatever it is, to be the target for motor. So, I think at this point I was feeling pretty comfy, just because they already had used one. They already had used one of the what's the fire thing? What's that fire event? Rain of Fire. So most likely they didn't have another one in my calculations there, as well as the other thing is that they already had used one of their returns. So they definitely had both Blazing Speeds, but at the same time, The idea is they can go all in on Krusk, in which case Krusk has a pretty decent shot of living here. And then without Rain of Fire. And then Pyro would basically be out of the game, and Brimstorm would probably be out of the game also. Brimstorm at 2. So this looks very comfy for me. But they did, in fact, and I think they actually they kept it in hand, so a smart move by them. They did have the second Rain of Fire. And so this ends up being a 57% chance here. The idea being, and I get lucky with the dice here a little bit, they have Krusk is left with 1. They can Blazing Speed, get the last damage on Krusk. So 57% chance I lose here with that hand they had. And then I would be out of the finals. And then they would be in the finals, which of course I wouldn't mind. I would love to have Askril in the finals. It'd be fun to watch. But then, luckily for me, is now I get another. So they had a 57% chance. And then now I have another 57% chance here. And so the question is here, do I hide with Krusk or do I go all in? And the cool thing is I already put this Rentrat under Brimstorm. The Scavenger is a 1 health. If the Scavenger was dead, I could also use the Biter here instead and go for that. But I already have the Scavenger, which is higher odds in this case than a 1-for-1. I think is it? Actually, that's interesting. Let me see. I might have been wrong there. What is the chance of a 1 sword versus a 2 sword? So 83% chance versus, I think this is like a 90% chance, right? A 2 for 3. Yeah, 92% chance. So have the Scavenger. Sadly, ideally, I'd want the dream here would be either another motor, of course, or even another wrench would be really nice because you could get 5 dice on Pyra. Plus a turret. Oop. Come on. Game is bugged. Sad. Let me reload it. So yeah, and so it ends up being, I think, slightly lower than based off if I hit the 2 for 3 dice. It ends up being like, I think, a 54% chance. But I was like, look, he hasn't used any Blazing Speeds. All he really needs, especially with these gates here, is even if Krusk is like in the corner somewhere, all he needs is whatever that unit which does ping damage, and then a Blazing Speed, and then you can easily get 2 damage on Krusk. So one decide for, okay, all in 50-50. Here, I actually forgot. It wouldn't have mattered at the end of the day, but I definitely forgot there should be a Biter behind Krusk. This was a mistake by me. In case somehow I don't kill him this turn. I think I'm dead either way, but in case I somehow... this was a mistake. There should be a Biter behind Krusk just to prevent that flank. That's how this was all in. And yeah, the Biter ends up the Biter ends up mattering here a lot. It kills the Scavenger as well as damages Pyra. And 2 for 2, and then I'm able to get the special for the final hit on Pyra to win the game. So yeah, GG's. This was basically the game which decided who goes through. Ironically, and this just shows you the nature of luck in Summoner Wars. We each had a 56% chance of doing lethal. The dice did not agree, or the dice did not allow them to go through, and then the next turn with the same odds allowed me to go through. So just the nature of dice games. But also, I think it shows you like how little things matter. I think, for both of us, them keeping their hand, I think was very smart. Yeah, so they did have the Blazing Speed double Rain of Fire. That makes sense. So really planning ahead, basically to discard Cold Inferno. I went for the play. Very cool. Yeah, Askril, very strong player. There's a really cool Storm Goblins games I watched from Brighter Later. I want to watch that one later. Brighter Later. We'll watch the Storm Goblins game later. I watched a little bit of it earlier. Storm Goblins versus SC, because I think a lot of people think SC versus Storm Goblins is a bad matchup, but I don't think it's that bad actually. I think it's one of those matchups you do have to play a little bit differently. Like you don't really want to discard your Volt Swappers in that matchup, just because they're your best unit to kill spirits. And if you think about it, you technically have, at least if you don't discard any Volt Swappers, you at least have 8 Volt Swappers, not including, getting back multiple volts, more than 2 Volt Swappers. Or I mean, that's not true. You have way more. So you have you at least have 12 Volt Swappers, if you do it correctly, or if you use all of them and you draw them correctly. So that's potentially 12 spirits dead, right? So I think it's a hard matchup, definitely, but I do think it's very winnable for Storm Goblins, and I think Brighter Later does a good job in that game to show it. Um, I do want to do a Storm Goblins stream at some point, but not today. Probably after the finals. Um, so yeah. All right. So yeah, my point being is, uh, don't give up, guys. If you feel down on your luck, I literally did not even make the final group last last tournament, and then this tournament I got lucky enough to make it to the finals based off a 250-50 coin flips. Um, so next up, I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about decks and strength of decks, specifically in this tournament, but I think just in general. I think I really kind of understand what Prophet was saying earlier, that he believes deck strength is very much dependent on versatility. Can a deck be both aggro and defensive at the same time? And I think a great example of that faction, or a great example of that is Birds, right? Birds can both go aggro and defensive um, at the same time. I think the issue with Birds and why they're not, like why they're a very solid deck, but not S tier, is that their tricks, you can calculate around their tricks, right? You can't. The one thing you can't calculate around is worthy dice, but everything else you can kind of predict, right? So I can always try to prevent, some type of Sky Assault turn. The one sort of randomness to this, which doesn't apply, is actually their champions, specifically Guilford and Wrath, are a little bit harder to play. You can still play around them, but a little bit harder. Guilford is really hard to play around. This is probably the most rarely played champion, but it is actually absurd how hard it is to play around this champion. Just because, one, it has flight intrinsically, so it's always going to have Sky Assault, even if it's not near Ava. Plus, Bully is just a really good ability. That's it. All their other cards are so good that Guilford is rarely used, but I think Guilford is like the kind of X factor this deck has. Um, of course, I think the other two, Zyruk is probably a lot better long game. Wrath and you could potentially have 19, but that's only in theory. Oh yeah, for the Volt Swappers, if you're able to get them all back at the same time. Yeah, I agree, Nestle. I think Guilford is an absurd champion. I think it's underused. The only player I've seen play Guilford often is Davoud, and every time he plays it, it's really good. Like he plays it a lot into Crimson Order. Um, I think there's a lot of places people summon Zyruk, which Guilford. The issue with Guilford, I think, is that you have to keep it safe. It's a typical champion where it only has 7 health. So if you just let it go by itself, like if you just leave it alone, it could easily get one shot in a turn. In which case, but Bully is such a cool ability, as well as always having flight is just very underrated. Um, but I do think flexibility. My point being is that the decks, like I think there's an argument in my head for Spectral Conclave. I didn't really play it against it, or I don't play it too much, so I won't comment on it too much. But I do think there's a very good argument for Cloak still being the best deck in the game, purely just because their curve's absurd. They have so many tricks that it's almost impossible to play around. Um, and they also have really good econ if you know how to deal with gunners, and I think Admiral is also is really good. So I think this deck might be the best deck in the game, to be honest, currently. Similar to Shadow Elves, just decks which have like, very hard to calculate. They're lethal, have multiple different tricks and tools, can play both aggro and defensive. Um, Filth, I think, are super duper duper strong and still S tier. I think the reason why they have a lower win rate is that their range is pretty easy to calculate, where Winged is basically the extent of their range until Abomination. I think Abomination is the breaker. I think this card is probably the best card in the game, and the reason why they're S tier. Abomination is just really really good. And of course, if you can have Abomination with Winged and Winged and Tentacle and in the same under Abomination, then this sort of breaks the rules where it just can do absurd things. Take a stand against bullying. Never summon Guilford. Hey, Brighter. Um, and I think that's similar with. I'll go into not the stream, like I said, but I think Storm Goblins are in a similar boat where one of the reasons why they're super strong, or one of the reasons I think that they're underrated. I don't think they're S tier, but I think they are A tier, is just because you have a lot of different tricks here, which are very hard to play around. Izzet is very hard to play around, especially if your opponent's low. Braca is also hard to play around just because I think a lot of people forget that you can overcharge Braca to get an extra space. Overcharge Izzet is also absurd. 4 space pull. A lot of different tricks you can play with this deck. Another great example is actually, as people were discussing earlier, Isle Vikid is another great example. Can play, more aggro, more passive. Has so many different tricks, it's almost impossible to play around. Between, plunge, double plunge, waveborn, you can do some crazy things. Speaking of which, I can show one of my losses. That's a funny one. I tried to do something funny, got punished for it hard. Yeah, Wayfarers would be another deck I think are good for that reason, where they can play both. I know Astro is very adamant about Wayfarers. Swampworks also, just like decks which can do tricks are underrated, and I think that's the main reason Avians are not S tier, just because they're too honest in a certain way, even though they can play both aggro and defensive. Um, but that said, maybe this card can change my thinking. um, yeah, cool. I can show you guys my loss to Bazo. I tried to go for some very fun play and then just forgot how cards worked. Aggro IV is very intriguing to me. Yeah, Nestle, I think I've only played 2 games in this tournament, but when I played forward games with IV, it always felt very good. Especially like when you're close to 8 magic, like your opponent has to starts to freak out because they're like, oh shit, I have to kill this gate, otherwise, an octopus is gonna be killing my 10 health gate plus everything around it. Um, that said, IV are so good at the range game that it's hard to to convince yourself sometimes. Uh, but yeah, I think the main 2 reasons I made it to the finals are one, good luck. The dice aligned for me in multiple games, not just against Askrel, but in multiple games. As well as I think I chose 4 really good decks. Like I think I would not undo it. Sand Goblins is another one I should say, which have all sorts of different tricks, which are really hard to play around. But I basically bring like 4 factions, which all like both can all play aggro or passive, and also just have a lot of tricks, which it's almost impossible for your opponent to play around all of them. And I think that really helped me a lot in all my games. Um, yeah, this is the one against Bazo. Bazo's so good. I only place a forward gate to anticipate my opponent coming closer, not really to go aggressive myself. Okay. I could see that. It's kind of like warding off. I think maybe because I'm not as good as you are at IV Nestle, and so I don't know. I'm not the best at passive IV, so I try to compensate that by playing slightly more aggro than I've seen you normally play, or at least with gate positioning, not necessarily in gameplay. Oh, after this game, I'll kind of go over a hot take I have about Guild Dwarves. Um, yeah, I have some ideas about Guild Dwarves, and I think it's a good time to say it just because the tournament's over. Exile's not playing Guild Dwarves. Also, um, I think the league matchup is almost done for that one. I think Polar Dwarves. I'll sign to Bean. I think Polar Dwarves won in all our matches so far. Polar Dwarves has just been king in that matchup for whatever reason. I think mostly because I'm a terrible Guild Dwarves player. Guild Dwarves are so hard. Like, especially when you don't want to think too much, Guild Dwarves are not the faction to play, I will say that. Okay, cool. So I'm IV against Bazo's. I agree with Nestle. This is definitely a back and forth matchup. It might be slightly IV favored if I had to guess, just because Crab Knights are really good. And Crab Knights like invalidate like a bunch of they invalidate wrenches, they invalidate um, a bunch of different units that the Sand Goblins have. I just forced myself to be aggressive. So this is a gate I think you would never do, or I'm not sure if you would do this Nestle. But this gate, I was thinking about it. I was like, I just don't want to get wrenched to death. Also because Krusk had had an early thruster on him, so I was like, I need to aggro gate, otherwise Krusk is just gonna kite me all game. Um, Kill my own Crab Knight, deny the magic. Makes sense, gets the rider, blocks the gate position. Luckily, I have a good answer for this. You think it was a mistake in game to have the gate here? Hey Bean, how you doing? Just going over. I tried to go for a cool combo. Oh, this was ridiculous luck. I'm not sure how this thing survived. That's it. I This play by Bazo I think is not good, to be honest. As a Cave Goblin player, I know Nestle doesn't like this gate, and I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes here. As a Cave Goblins player, I don't think this is a good play. I mean, in terms of you're hoping for good dice for this play. That said, maybe this is a matchup where you have to hope for good dice. Um, I kept the sniper here just because I didn't want him to kill this gate because I already discarded a gate, which is a mistake in this matchup. I realized in retrospect. I should have all my gates in this matchup, definitely. But I was afraid that I'd get double ridered, and then my gate would be down to 2. And then I just kind of lose because my last gate is, I'm not sure where my last gate is. So I the sniper had to tank the damage there. Um, and then here, this is where I really wish I didn't discard my gate. I'm just doing the slow push-up. Slow push-up. I'm like, I have the super strong Roko, a super strong Crab Knight. I wonder if there's an argument not to put a gate here. No, I think Roko could just take too much damage. Silts. I think he ends up killing the gate, if I remember correctly. What did that fighter just do? You mean this turn? BM running? Oh, yeah, I did do the BM run. I did the doo. I forgot about that. So I get the octopus out, able to island smite the protector basically of Silts, and I have the plunge to get a Watu here. And I'm able to kill Silts, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I kill him this turn. Yep. All right, and then Bazo sees giant octopus and does what everyone should do in this case: try to kill octopus as quickly as possible. Um, So this is a funny game, I think. It is also kind of like a useful game for myself and potentially for others. Um, he detonates the gate. Okay, so this is the turn, right? And this is my hand. I'm down to 4 cards. the issue is I know I have 0 more gates, and so I'm like, it's gonna be very hard to get reinforcements here. Um, so I have a very obvious play, which is basically Watu over here, hit Spider. Most likely 1 in 8 special should happen, and then I can Roko hit Krusk for 8 dice, and then push him somewhere, and then yeah. In my head, I was like, Bazo most likely just has a bunch of like units in hand. Watu's gonna die, Roko's gonna be stuck, and I thought in my head because I forgot about tough. If you calculate it, I think it's around like a 50% chance that this play works. I was like, or it's like a 54% chance that this works if you forget about tough. So I was like, I'm gonna go for the cool play. Uh, and if this works, I'll look like a genius. If this doesn't work, I'll look like an idiot. So I go Islands Might. The first part works. Push Watu. Yep, that works nicely. And then this is the oomph. The oof. So the idea here was that I was gonna push Crab Knight into Krusk, and then Krusk attacks. Crab Knight pushes Krusk into Octopus, and that should be a 90% chance to win. The issue which I forgot is 1 Crab Knight on 1s you can't push based off the wording on Waveborn Relic. I think it's the same thing on Brutal Force, right, Nestle? Or Forceful Attack basically does not proc if you don't do damage. So, yeah, oops, I guess. And the irony of this all is if I just went for my original play, Bazo would have most likely lost because if you look at their hand, it's like no units at all, and the rest of their deck is nothing really. Like I literally went for the only play which would allow Bazo to win this game in this position, or at least comfortably win this game in this position. And then he proceeds to. He must have been so happy when he saw this. Like I killed my own Watu for this play. Watu down to 1. There's a biter here which can instantly kill it. Based off his hand. Oh no. And then I proceed to brutally lose this game, based off some really nice Sand Goblins play by Bazo. Mm-hmm. Nestle, if it worked, I'd have looked like a genius. Very unfortunate. That's the cool thing about this play by Bazo also is that he can basically kill the Crab Knight without even attacking. And so here I try to do the best thing which I can, which is just keep Roko alive. I need to retreat here. But he has the nice hand to finish this game off. GG's. Yep. Crazy game. And yeah, if I had lived this turn, I would have most likely, most likely would have won. But I think it was like a 90% chance of killing me there. Anyways, moral of the story is go for the best play. Don't try to go for the flashy play. Yep. Nah, I don't believe that at all. I think if it had worked, I'd have looked so cool. But I just failed. Bean, should we play? All right, Bean's going to send me the game. So we'll be playing our lively game. I'll be playing Tundra Orcs. Bean will be playing the Guild Dwarves. Oh, so it's good I didn't tell you guys my secret Guild Dwarves thinking strategy. That play reminds me of what I did against Bean last time we fought, funnily enough. You have to send me the replay, Nestle, or at least tell me if the game's broken. But yeah, so the game will start tomorrow, or the tournament will start tomorrow. Exciting for Fae lovers. Exile was able to, or Joe let Exile switch one of his factions with the Fae, so we'll be seeing both Storm Goblins and the Fae in the finals, which should be fun for everyone. Also, if it'd be really cool. I'm not sure if Exile kept them, but if that's it, it'd be really bad matchups for him. But if Exile kept them, the Forge is also a cool faction to see in the finals. Surprisingly, not the first time we would see. Surprisingly, it's not the first time either the Fae, Storm Goblins, or Guild or the Forge are in the finals. Like it's very surprising, but all three of those factions have already been in the finals by the same player actually. XIX, I'm so sad they stopped playing, but they literally went to the finals with Forged, Storm Goblins, and the Fae, and almost beat Orange Lazarus. They were one game away. Maybe that's it. Oh, sorry. Where's Tundrorks? You can tell me advice afterwards. There must be some type of coding Joe does that if you attack Roko with Watu. Or if you attack Roko, or if you attack Watu with Roko, like you automatically fail whatever you're trying to do as punishment for your sins. All right, what are we doing here? Hmm. That's kind of interesting here. So the only way this catapult dies is with a double attack. Whether the fighter gets lucky enough to go back and forth, that's if the fighter goes back and forth, it's gonna take a lot of damage. There is advantage of putting damage on Guild Dwarf. And then the gate positioning is also an interesting one. I could double attack catapult, hope for good damage. Gate, I think Nestle usually puts it like here or here. I'm thinking these two spaces. Hmm. Catapult damage is useless unless I kill it. What are actually the odds of... Let's see. Special. What are the odds of this doing with a reroll? 1 plus is 55% chance with a reroll. Might as well, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna do something like this. And then, because I have a gate, I can do something like... First turn freeze. Freeze my own Shaman Horgata. eh, eh. I kind of like this slightly more so I can refor... Or does it actually matter here? This one is slightly more safer of a gate. Does this make any sense? No. I think here. The difference is I have this lane, which is better than here, yeah. So I like this a little better. Alright, let's see. No, I don't care about this too much. Move on. Nice, we get it. Move on. All right, that's fine. And then we have the reroll for this one. And we got a nice. You're not going to relieve your Gildor's tech? Well, let's see this game if it works. I was pretty lucky that game. All right, that turn. We can actually discard heavy here. So I think freeze goes. Freeze is 3 spaces. Argument here to keep 1 freeze. E. But then I would discard the fury. So fighter goes. I think the first fury goes, just because of the nature of what's happening here. Okay, I'll review my, yeah, let's do this. Okay, so, oh, I draw all my gates, nice. My Guild Dwarves tech is, Guild Dwarves, if you look at them as a deck, can I see them here? Yeah, I can. My tick with Guild Dwarves is similar to Shadow Elves. Like they're a recursion deck. My thoughts on them is that you want you want either 3 or more cost. Let me think about how I'm gonna say this. So against Guild Wars, there's different priorities, right? They have a lot of different tools, but their main thing you always want to focus and even take some risks on is killing. First priority is always supply caches. This should always die. And second priority is always ballistas. These are like the 2 things you want to kill. Third priority is probably catapults. Guild Wars are good, but they just are very expensive. And so I kind of play it like I play against Swamp Works, where I'm always trying to clear the swamp every turn. You also want to be very mindful of their third row. The main reason being that does this get rid of abilities? Yes, that's very cool. This turn. The main reason you want to or do I just go all in on this? So anyways, sorry, when I end my turn, I'll continue my thought. You basically, I like trimming the swamp, basically. Just denying the magic, trimming the swamp is the short version of what I was going to say. There's an interesting attack order. I think I Shaman attack first. I could get some damage on. The issue of playing a Smasher here, or my issue with playing a Smasher here is I do get some damage on Alden, which is kind of important in this matchup. Let me think. I'm basically sacrificing the Smasher, though. Is the Smasher worth killing the fighter? Or killing the Guild Defender? And getting damage on Alden. I think so. Especially because of this hand. So there's 2 different options here. I can either freeze. The problem about attacking the ballistas, I'm not going to kill it, so it's not even worth attacking. There's also a chance the Smasher dies. And if he puts a catapult here, or not a catapult, if he puts a trebuchet here, or a ram, sorry. If he puts a ram here, he's also blocking this lane, so it's not the worst, actually. He's blocking this ballista if he does that. He sacrificed the Smasher he had coming anyways. True. All right, just for you, Hagrada. The question is now, where does this gate go? I don't really like this too much. This feels wrong. Uh, Fighter. Whatever. I do this for and then gate here. Heh. Something like that. These gates kind of look weird. 1, 2, 3. They actually seem okay-ish. Yeah, something like this. Nestle's tearing out his hair right now. Alright, give me a special. Oh, one special, nice. So basically, we sacrifice the Smasher for 1 damage on Olden. What's our discard like? 2 fighters. Do I want to keep a fighter? I kind of do. I think fires are actually really good in this matchup. I do not want to discard all of them. The thing about fires is if I can get a good streak, I can snipe out. It gives me a chance to snipe out a cache, and I think supply caches are very important to get rid of. So yeah. Anyways, my priority is basically also like you always want to summon things which can deal 4 dice with ranged because that's a 67 or 66% chance of killing a 3-cost unit, as well as 3+ melee. So you really want to prioritize that. So especially in this matchup, I'm going to really prioritize trying to summon Torgana if I can, if I draw her early enough. But I think trading with them is very good, especially if you can kill a ballista. And yeah, again, it is a faction which is mostly wants to play on their back row, but is limited to, if not, it's limited by Olden. And I think by far their scariest champion is Grundar. I think this champion is really good. Like 5/2, especially with a supply cache. It's a 3/5. And then it gets to build. I mean, Master Builder is just really good. Design's also really good, especially if you are able to kill their supply caches early. Yeah. The gate on the right is gonna mess up Torgana positioning on the future. I'm calling it. I guess you'd put it down here. Yeah, this one was a tricky one. I'm not sure where to put this one. I'm not used to playing factions where the gate's so far up. I don't play factions where the gate's in the 3rd row, the 10 health gate. Guild Defender. Yeah, this Smasher basically did nothing. But it's not too bad of a situation. Didn't even need to push. Alright, the Shaman lives. Um, hmm. Alright. So I think we are summoning a fighter, definitely. Fighter this side is good. And then I think I just need a charger here. I don't think I need a fighter. This position is kind of nice for me. I don't think this is... Shamans I do want to keep in this matchup. 5, 2... Yeah, I'm thinking something like this. Cool. I think this is good. This gate, I'm not sure what I'm doing with her. At some point I want to discard it, but yeah. Alright, charger. Nice. Interesting choice where I go here. I mean, let's move on. Do I protect the shaman? So he can resummon the gate, would be the argument for doing it here. That said, if I attack the ballista, that gives him an interesting option of what to... He needs to unsummon one thing. I think this is slightly better. And then I leave this lane closed, yeah. That's fine. And I think I keep this hand. Yeah, I like the hand. I think all the commons in this matchup are good. But yeah, in this matchup, I really want to summon Torgon. I think Ragnar is also really good. I think Shank is actually not the best in this matchup, just because it doesn't do guaranteed 3 damage, or it's unlikely to do 3 damage. What are the odds actually of Shank doing 3 damage? Let's see. So 8 dice, 8 special dice. If it's over 50%, then it's actually it's 53%. Never mind. It actually is pretty decent. Okay, I apologize. I apologize to Shank. They're actually pretty good. Yeah, but I like the rerolls. Ooh, dwarf. That's kind of sick. Interesting. All right, let me. Supply cache, nice. Dwarf is interesting here. Ooh, 2 is brutal there. This is brutal. That's brutal. Poor Bean is gonna get Oh no, Bean. Oh no. Do I summon anything else this turn besides the play everyone else is thinking? Ooh, I could do a triple. Oh my god. This game might be over. This is the first time I ever played Dwarf, he said. Guys. Is it time? Is it time for the triple? Yeah, definitely. We're definitely doing this. And before my shaman doesn't roll it. What are the odds here? 5. I need a special. I need 1 plus. 86. Is this a thing, Nestle? You'll have to tell me after if this is actually a thing, or I'm just being way too greedy here. This is not actually a thing. Yeah. Oh god. It is 5 dice. Damn it. Okay, I'm not doing this. Do I want to attack this 10 health gate? Not really, in this faction. Argument, though, for this thing, though, I do kind of like this. Especially because I'm doing a Ford Warrior turn. I could do a very aggro gate. That actually doesn't look the worst. In my head, this doesn't actually look too bad. I'm going to go for it. Might as well, right? This does not look too bad to me in my head. I like it. Alright, that's good. Move on. In my head, this doesn't look too bad. Ooh. Oof. Alright, we do it. A little bit more, please. Alright, we got the 2 damage. Not sure if it was worth a reroll. Hopefully this one hits nicely and it doesn't die. Oh, well, at least it didn't die. Could be worse. We're up to 5. I do like all these cards. That's good. I want to believe you should be happy killing their supply. True. True, true, true. Yeah, killing supply is the most important thing, I think, this matchup. In this matchup. At least the shaman didn't kill itself. That's what I'm happy about. It's probably giving over magic this turn. Actually, the shaman, if it killed itself, would probably be a better situation. Yep. The shaman should have killed itself. God damn. God damn it. Dwarf is doing work. Too bad on my brutal force. Good news is Olden's really far away from everything. Also, the supply cache is really far away from everything. Dwarf is meta now. Yeah, I can't really. This 10 health gate is kind of intimidating. Dwarf is just gonna be hitting me through it. What am I thinking here? It's pretty cool that Dwarf can attack this way. And good news, Bean doesn't have any blueprints. I had some plan in my head of killing this Boulder's Gate, but I forget it. Not that it is that important. All right, if I Grundor, kill the catapult, or Ragnar, sorry. How does TO even fight against Guild Dwarves? Good question. I think I just chill back, maybe. Come at me. Come at me. Let's do another fighter. Hmm. Fighter positioning. I wish the fighter was actually. Hmm. Okay. I'm thinking something like this. Maybe this is exposing too many resources. Um, Wait, why am I not going 2 back? Forgot it's within 3, right? Yeah, it's within 3. Something like this. Okay. Uh, Sad. In this case, actually, attacking the catapult's not bad. Just because Alden will not be able to deal with it. Guild Engineer? Catapult's better here, I think. And then give me the good one. You deserve. I deserve this dice. I deserve this dice. Give me the. Yes. 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 Give that to me. Oh, baby. Shaman heard the call after his other shaman failed. Yeah, this catapult living is actually a decent thing because it prevents the summoning spot from being open. And him summoning a new catapult or something to attack the shaman. Now he can only basically do 2 dice. What are my last cards? Basically a bunch of champions. Luckily, I have 2 high health shamans here. If Bean pushes slightly more forward, um, I can really start punishing things. So this gate needs to be at 5 health. With I can't even read underneath the axe. I think it's 5. I think it's 5 or fewer health. So basically, the gate. If I'm gonna attack the gate, I need to make sure that it dies in 2 turns. It can't die in 1 turn, or get a triple attack on it. You can't believe I didn't play Ragnar. I was thinking about it, and I was like, it probably just dies in a turn. Because the play would have been a Charger plus Ragnar. 5 or fewer base. Oh, base health. I see. I see. So the 10 health cannot be brought back. That's good. Jinx. You both said it. Battering ram. I think battering ram is a little bit of a bait. Poor Bean summoned the battering ram. For what? For what, Bean? Uh, what is the other shaman doing here? Is it doing anything? It could attack that 10 health gate, but then it just dies, probably. No, the shaman is kind of chilling. Okay. I think this is an easy turn. Do I discard anything to get up to 7? I don't think so. This seems like a bait if I go up here. Yeah, I think this is fine. I kind of like my hand. I guess Grognak could be in a better position. The only card I can think about getting rid of is Brutal Force. But I kind of like it, to be honest. Fury, I don't really want to get rid of my last Fury. There's an argument for it, especially with this last hand, but... I'm going to keep on to it for a turn. See what happens. Alright, we got the Guild Defender. He's slowly pushing up the battering ram. The slow push up of the battering ram. Well, he's killing my 10 gate, I guess. He's taking that battering ram. That battering ram by Bean was literally just 2 wasted magic. It was whiff prevention. To be fair to Bean, it was whiff prevention. I mean, I don't envy Bean. Guild Wars is a very hard deck to learn, especially in a 45-minute game. Alrighty. So they only have 1 magic. And no blueprints. So I'm pretty sure I can just do something like this. How many more smashes do I have left? Oh, these are my last 2 smashes. Yeah, I don't see it. Do I move this here? I think the smash isn't enough of a threat that I can actually do this. You could also Brutal Force it, maybe. And attacking the Guild Engineer here is not a bad idea, just because again they have 1 magic. The Guild Engineer cannot be redeployed. Doing this really makes it so that the Guild Defender has to die. I guess would be the caveat of this play. That's it. This Guild Defender doesn't need to die if I smash her. So I like it. I forgot how this works. I think I move on from here. And then I influence this one most likely if it doesn't hit it. I get it, nice. And then just a little bit of dice would be fine here. If not, it's good also. Oh, 1 dice, that's fine. Main reason I'm doing this is just because, and I think I got rid of you now. Oop. Brutal Force. Just showed it to Bean. Here's my Brutal Force Bean. You want my dice, Astro? I get all the specials on this faction. Yeah, argument to also get rid of this one. Am I far enough ahead? I feel like this is just really good in this matchup. And Grognak is still at 12, so I feel like it's still really good. Yeah, I'll keep it. 6 would be nice, though, because then I could summon Double Smasher. The greedy. You gotta pay Joe good money for my dice, Astro. You can't say Fury is good and never attack with Grog. True. True. Very true. I mean, in retrospect, based off what I drew, it definitely was worth. This was kind of a greedy play by me. That said, he only has 1 magic, so I didn't think I could get punished too much. But with no blueprint, 1 magic, you can't really do much. In this economy. Dwarf has been doing work, though. I need a way of killing it soon. Too bad I got rid of Brutal Force. Okay. Okay. If Olden whiffs, I win next turn. If Olden doesn't whiff... Alrighty. Poor Bean. Twice in a row. Olden whiffs have dictated this game. Also, he just has to pray I don't have the combo. Which I do. There's actually an interesting play here. Do I... Alrighty. So you go here. So the charger could be in front of the shaman, just in case I get horrendously unlucky. So I think this is actually slightly better here. And because I'm in such a good position, I think this is actually fine. But maybe I get like super punished next turn. And then shaman here. For glory. Oh my god. It lived though. Oh, that's sad. The BM destroy my shaman. Poor Bean. Next turn, Flash Beans or Primal Fury. Oh, Astra, I forgot. I should have read chat. I should have read chat. What up, Bean?
Yo.
Hey, Bean. How you doing?
It was a bad decision there, but it's fine.
I understood it though. I would need a specific combo. You needed magic, and you
Yeah,
just whiffed. Yeah.
that was my main thing is like I need magic, and I needed magic the whole game. It felt like couldn't start. I like just whiffing and all this kind of stuff. You see what's still in my deck? Nice little blueprints still haven't been drawn.
It's beautiful. Beautiful for me.
Yeah,
Dwarf was doing work there, though, I will say. Dwarf is such a cool champion, especially with the supply cache.
yeah. I was kind of freaking out there when you went after my last engineer because I'm like, shoot, if you kill that thing, then Dwarf is pretty much like worthless because that was my only one I had
Oh, to
still.
move.
And so you could just literally just move away from it.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. How,
But yeah, it was
go on.
that I thought he was pretty good. I'd never used him before, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he's more useful. I still have not, and maybe I'll be proven. Have you seen anyone use the tower well? I guess it's 5 dice, but I don't like Grun's.
I use the tower well.
Who?
It's good for when like people are turtling against you and you can kind of get a lot of magic. So I've used the tower before.
Mm.
But yeah, it's pretty situational.
Yeah, the tower is interesting. I think just because it costs 4 magic, and the deck is anyways like very like all their commons are really good, so it's hard to justify. And also like their did you have what do you think about what do you think I guess is Gildor's best champion? Grundor is probably the most versatile. Grundor.
Yeah, probably Grundor. He's definitely the one I play the most.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I think their odd champions are all just interesting and cool. They're not any of them are like none are at Boldo levels, but that's a good thing.
I will say, as we talked about before, Bean, you're a brave man bringing Guild Dwarves into Live League. I think that's probably one of the hardest factions to play well with a 45-minute timer.
Yeah, I was figuring it out.
That was a
I was
hard.
like, this maybe not be the best move, but then and then that's what leads me to sorry. That's maybe not the best move, and that's what led me to kind of doing those whiffs, I think, because those are probably too risky, both of them.
Mm. Yeah, I think the main thing was
I just,
the. Oh, sorry, go on.
I just have a tough time against Tundra Orcs, I feel like, because I do take those types of risks, and if you whiff, I just like the moment I whiffed on that, I knew like, okay, you have four glory. Like I just know you do.
Mm.
I didn't have that in my head before taking the shot. It's only like after I'm like, oh yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah, For Glory is the damage potential of Tundra Orcs is nuts. And like you said, if you play more aggressively, they can definitely punish harder than most factions if they have the right hand.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think the main thing was the. I mean, I understand why you did it, but I think the battering ram was the batter because a lot of their stuff is expensive, like battering ram. Because like battering or ram or guild defender is basically like two commons, right? Like the catapult or the ballista. So it's always hard to
mm,
know what to. Like it's a very magic hungry deck in some ways because you want to build everything and you want to also like bring back stuff and then build it again. Um,
yeah. I mean, I was thirsting for magic that whole time too, and Tundra Orcs too are good at denying magic just because they don't have to play a lot of stuff and they're pretty beefy.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah, they have a good curve. Mostly they have good values in general for like they have Smasher just one shots all the catapults or ballistas. Um,
Yeah. I do
yeah.
feel like you hit me with some 3 for 3s with the shamans.
My Astro was calling out in chat. He was like, "I wish I had Shrez's luck this game when I played Tundra Orcs." Yep, yep.
That's not my experience, but you know, no, it
Hey,
was a
hey,
good game.
go on. Sorry.
I'm not upset at all. I think I could have played better, but that's fine.
Mm. I think it was a cool showcase of. I do think the 10 health pushing up with Dwarf in the back was definitely very scary for me. And I think this game would have, like you said, been very different if one, I hadn't hit the dice I did, and two, if you had drawn any of your two blueprints within the first 2/3 of your
Yeah,
deck.
talk about talk about being magic starved. It's like, oh, there's a thing in the deck that makes things cheaper. I just didn't.
Yeah, it makes your two
Yeah,
best commons free. It's just like, yeah, it's unfortunate.
if you look at my last couple turns too, my hands were just so bad, but I also didn't want to discard all this stuff. But it's only events, pretty much. It's like, oh, can you not see?
I should be able to. I think it's bugged currently. Yeah, let me reload it.
Refresh or something.
Jexic says, "Where is Olden?"
Like, nice.
How are you doing, Jexic? Um. Oh, a cool idea. Massimo messaged me. I'm curious about your thoughts. Is I think there were tournaments like this before. It would be like basically a custom deck, like one-on-one matchup, where we have two players and they basically draft from the same pool of cards, and then they play against each other. I think that'd be kind of cool to just see like what two players make with the same deck. That said, there would probably be some type of like two players playing the same exact deck potentially, but I think there was like a draft. I think on SW Zone there is like a draft pick'ems for cards because Ben had some tournaments like that.
That would be cool. I would be down for that as a person who doesn't do a lot of deck building.
Mm, it'd be kind of like the Hearthstone mode. I forgot where you do the where you draft, or even Magic's like that also. Yeah.
Well, it could be like you and I are both picking from the same pool,
Mm.
and once you pick something, I can't get it, right? Like that could be.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Well,
That could be super fun to balance it out.
nice. You want to check out my hand at this point? It was pretty brutal. But at this point, it was okay. I think it was maybe one later or one
Let's see.
before. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
this one's
this.
this one's a beautiful hand bean. I was wondering, yeah, because you summoned the battering ram here to confirm the fighter kill, and I was like, why? And then I see your hand now. I'm like, oh, that's why.
Like, I had to play something,
Yep, yep. No, I
and
agree.
I couldn't. The supply cache really wasn't super helpful, and
Go with Oldham.
I mean, I didn't want to risk it, and then also, yeah, it was just bad. But that would have saved me some magic, so maybe I should have done that.
No, I understand definitely. It was unfortunate. I just hit my dice. You gotta pay Joe more, Bean, and then it'll all work out.
I'm paying him currently nothing since I won the Gen Con tournament.
Oh, true. Oh, did you? Is this the most recent one?
The most recent Gen Con tournament, yeah.
The one which happened? Did it happen already this year? I'm not up to date.
Yeah. No,
Cool.
it's
Congratulations. Oh, sorry. Go on.
it's in August is when that happened, so it was well, a long time ago.
Sounds. Yeah, but good luck this year. I know you're going. Are you going again, Bean?
I don't think I'm going this year actually.
Hmm.
Unfortunate because I know James is going and Aaron's going. It's gonna be pretty great tournament as always.
I need to go.
Yeah,
Not this. I can't go this year, but next year I'll try to make a good effort to try to go
yeah,
meet
nice.
everyone in
Well,
person.
if you want to keep watching some games, I'd be down to chat with you while we're watching them.
Sounds good. Yeah, we were talking earlier. Just solitaire. Such a sick like Gill dwarves, fungal dwarves, frogs, and tree and making 7-1 in the final pool, especially in this really hard pool. That's nuts.
That is crazy. Wow.
Let's
Were you watching
watch.
some of those?
Sorry, go
Did you watch some of those games already?
on. Not too many. Let's watch. Do you want to watch Fungal Dwarves versus Sand Goblins, or you want to watch Frogs versus Cloaks? What are the two I was thinking?
Let's do Frogs versus Cloaks.
Sounds good.
Although I do see that Fungal Dwarves was against Aaron. Fungal Dwarf Master.
Jax guys have solitaires even on Discord. I'm not sure. I don't see them post ever.
There might be some sound coming here real quick. Oh, you're good.
Anyways,
Oh,
sorry, go on.
I'm pulling up your Twitch so that I can look at any comments and stuff that come up too.
Sounds good. All right. So Phobos versus Solitaire. I feel like this matchup is. I've only seen this matchup once, which was the finals versus Nestle versus. I think Nestle. It was Nestle versus Bookish in the last tournament, and Cloaks won by just doing Cloak stuff, and then they got like a double dagger. It was like dagger got 1 damage, like Hecate was down to 2. And then Bookish got dagger down the board and then was slowly pushing up with like a 3-turn push of blocks down to the opposite side of the field to get the last, Simpson damage. So it got Simpson proc once and then the last Simpson damage. it was a very funny game.
For the win is always so good.
Yep. No, I agree, Hargada. That's a really nice, to go back to it. It was a really nice opening position from Solitaire. Just like a triangle.
Doing a good formation this turn now. Also.
Yep. That's very nice. Yep. Interesting, the Mystic position. They get their dice. Do they? Okay, they don't use Swift Potion before the attack to get Hecate out of the way.
Getting a nice 3 for 4, something that I whiffed on.
Oh, I see. They use the Swift Potion on the warrior. That makes sense. Then they get an extra boost.
Admiral.
Oh, those are more like your dice, Bean. That's more like it.
Oh.
But it gets on the unit, which didn't matter. Oh, they get the potentially 1-turn kill on the Admiral, especially. Oh, they don't have strong, but still, this is 9 dice. Okay, I need a 4 for 4.
All right, worthwhile.
Not yet, but this is still a super nice formation.
Yeah.
And they do get the Admiral free attack. I think Admiral is like very underrated. Ever since I think it's really good. Ever since the super machinist was nerfed.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same way I kind of feel about Fire Drake after the nerf on or the buff on Phoenix Elves. It's like now this thing gets to shine a little because there's nothing ever wrong with the Admiral. It's just he's expensive and people would play all the other stuff.
Yeah,
but
very true.
I really like it.
I agree. I think it's ooh.
1 for 4.
Tragic. Ooh, okay. What is the
Nice. Moto Sniper.
Your favorite?
It's pretty cool.
They must have a smoke bomb.
Oh, are they gonna protect him at all? A smoke bomb, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to get around the wardens also here.
I mean, Warden's still getting boosts though.
True.
Taking with the 1, I feel like that might not even be worth it on the Warden sometime. He did that on a turn before that too.
Yeah, I agree. It's just feeding boost for basically nothing. And there, even whiffed, even worse. Ooh.
Oh. Damn.
Got just enough. Oh, that's cool. He gets the sideways attack. Yeah. Sniper's not very safe, sadly, in this matchup with the Seer.
Yeah. Anything with any single common is not safe against the Seer.
I think the main thing which I'm impressed about is Solitaire's 1, boost economy 2. His positioning has been very nice with his, just in general, with his wardens, with his units.
Yeah.
Nice play with
Oof.
Nice Cloakstern. Was able to get a lot of value there, but their sniper is sadly no longer there.
Nice try.
Yep. And then they can take off all the boosts from the Seer, get more damage with this. Really cool.
Yeah. Now that frogs are no longer as strong as they are, that is appropriately cool rather than just really, really annoying.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, that's cool. Before, that would have sent me into a rage.
Hargrada says Admiral is good if he hits his dice. True. Very true. Also, I mean, the good thing about Admiral is even if it doesn't hit your dice, it doesn't count towards your attack limit, so it's just, less painful. But still. But it is very expensive. Yeah, I think Admiral's like priced exactly as it should be. I just think Dagger is just very... Like, Dagger should definitely be 5 magic. There's no reason Dagger's not 5.
And also, you're giving it the same ability of a summoner is crazy.
100%. Agreed.
Uh-oh, this is looking spooky.
Ooh, Kalach. Oh, they have that's sick. Yeah, they have the Swift Strong Potion. That's so many dice. What are the odds of this, actually? We can look at this afterwards. This is 15 dice? Who would have thought? Oh, and they get it. That's nuts. That reminds me of Old Frogs. That's like an Old Frogs play right there. You think you're safe, 2 warriors out of nowhere come with Swift Potion, double attack you, you're dead. Sick play. Sick game. What was the odds of that, actually? Let's see. So that was 3.
4 melee.
Was it 4 or 5 melee? It was 4? Yeah, 4, you're right. 4 sword and then 10 bow. 63% chance. Damn. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, full health Hecatia. It's like definitely worth it.
Yep. What was their hand? Yeah, they wouldn't even be able to punish too much after that. Kalak is a really cool card also. Kalak. A boost generator. It's just really hard to use this sometimes because a lot of times you're just going through your potions so quickly. But I think ever since the frog nerf, or all 3 of their champions are just really fun to use and very useful.
Well, according to Jexic, we need to nerf them again.
Nerf frogs again. Thanks, Splish. How are you doing? You've been upgrading. I can get behind that. Astra, I know you were playing the frogs for a bit. What do you think after after their changes? All right. Should we watch a Fungal Dwarves game? Should we watch a different player? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, let's do that Fungal Dwarves game. And then we can switch it up.
Sounds good. I think this might be the first Fungal Dwarves game I've watched this entire tournament, so it's good. They're 50-50, which I'm so surprised about. Or I think they're slightly below, but they're basically 50-50 this tournament.
They must not have played any Spectral Conclave.
Very true. Sounds like someone in this chat also. Yeah. I was very fortunate not to face any of them.
Meanwhile, I got all the world's hardest matchups in mine. Round.
You had a tough round 2.
Phoenix Elves, Storm Goblins. Then I had Chosen Grove Swamp Orc. And I had, what was the other one? I can't even remember what it was. It was, Cave Goblins, Cryptid Order. Those were all in the same
the same league. That is, you've been a magnet for Cave Goblins, Crimson Order in the Plat Hat tournaments, though, Bean. I think last tournament also, right?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I won them both. And these hard matchups, I won 2 out of 3. So
Hmm.
not
Blame.
too shabby.
Ooh, that's sick. That's sick. Blame Joe for not having the eater buff, right?
Yeah. Eater made an appearance in multiple of my games and was good in multiple of my games. So
Hmm. I did watch one of them where Eater. I need to watch more of your Cave Goblins games. Are you proud though that Cave Goblins ends as the most winning faction in the game overall?
yeah. Oh yeah.
68%. It's not going to be touched. Just the best faction in the game. Nerf
Let's nerf the Eater.
the Eater more. It eats 2 units rather than 1.
Yeah, I had that one. I think Phoenix Elves was one of the lowest also. But for me, I didn't lose that much with Phoenix Elves. But wasn't it them and Breakers who have the lowest win rate of the tournament?
Hmm. The breakers, yeah, breakers have the lowest at 18%, which is nuts. Because it's a good amount of games. It's more than 40
Yeah.
games. It's not like it's a small sample size for that low.
I feel like this is the tournament where it has had the widest variety of things. It hasn't really been focusing around 50 as much as previous tournaments.
Agreed. Yeah, there's some weird ones. Wayfair is another one, but I think less people will bring them. Um, yeah, it's an interesting tournament. I think it's also interesting because there's just a lot of really good decks. Like it's not like before there was like the top 4 were definitely like Shadow Elves, Cloaks, Savannah Elves, and what was the last one? Filth, maybe the last tournament. Versus this tournament, there's just like so many. You have Spectral Conclave, you have Owl Vicket. There's just so many really. It just like as the pool gets wider, it actually gets harder for top decks to do well, just because there's so many matchups you need to know and so many different
Yeah.
mechanics.
Well, that leads to like player skill mattering more than the actual matchups or luck, so that type of thing too mattering more.
100%. That's a great point, Bean. Yeah, I need to watch more Eternal Council. I think Frogs and Eternal Council are games I'm trying to watch. Sorry, let me go to the game. What is chat saying? No Tixie backsies. I think they're fair. The secret to getting the files is dodging SC players. True. I think I would have been fine with SC with most of my factions. Yeah, I guess. But you had good factions versus them, right, Jexic? You had
I mean, Wayfarers is really good against them, right?
yeah. I think
Oh,
that's one of the better ones. Dragons is good against them also. I mean, Dragons is kind of like a coin flip. I feel like it's like someone's gonna win within the first 5 turns, and Cloaks is great against them. Yeah, Filth is also good against them, or yeah, fine against them. Makes sense. I beat my SC in my matchup, but have a 65 win rate with him. No joke. Yeah, I agree. And then a bunch of nerf SCG jokes. Eaters died as 40% devout cultist. True. Buff
it
Baldo.
was. It was. I mean, you're almost guaranteed to kill a cultist with the Eater, so that was pretty nice. I didn't have to like have insurance or anything.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that game or some of those games. Did you end up winning that game versus Crimson Order, or was that a loss?
I think you did watch it actually on stream one time, but yeah, I did win that.
Oh, is that the one where you killed their gates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, then
I
you
don't
had
know if
the
you've seen
Eater. Oh, sorry, go
EE versus Storm Goblins game though that I won.
on. I've been avoiding Storm Goblin's losses, but I will watch that one after. Actually, I think I
Let's
might have watched that one. Oh, sorry, go on.
let's watch this Fungal Dwarfs out here.
Yeah. Sounds good. I think in general this is a fine matchup for. I mean, this is probably slightly Storm Goblin's favored, but I don't think it's like necessarily very. Like I don't think it's like super Storm Goblin. I mean, not Storm Goblins.
Fungal Dwarf.
Fungal Dwarfs. I don't think it's super bad for Fungal Dwarfs. Let's say it that way.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
interesting.
agree. Although you probably don't want to advance as much as you do in some matchups.
100%.
Just want to hang out in the middle.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're playing more of a ranged. Like Kaldak is not even giving boost to anything. Like he's not gonna proc bloom on everything. Just mages.
Well, it's scary out here against the Sand Goblin sometimes.
Very true. It has nice gates. Aaron has nice gates. Also has the early basically super gate. Turn 4 super gate.
Yeah, everything on there.
Yeah. Nice thing for them also is that basically again Kaldak is not blooming anything. Ooh, nice denial as well as killing the carrier by Aaron. Okay, cool. Just going for the gate. Makes sense.
Maybe they don't have detonate.
True, true. Also, what's nice here is that you like they haven't used any demands, so you always have to be very afraid of even just a beast or any mage can kill a 5 health unit in a turn or a gate. So they have the detonate. This is so interesting. This is like a very like not formation based fungal dwarves, which is super rare to see.
Mm-hmm.
Just using their units to trade effectively.
Yeah, interesting they're not.
Hmm?
They could have gotten a little bit farther away on that shot, but
On the what?
it was going after that rider that was in front, so it could have gone one space behind.
Oh, are you watching from the stream?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, watch on Discord, Beans.
No,
Or
no,
on the
I'm watching. I'm
Okay.
watching on your screen. When that shaman attacked, it could have been
Oh yeah, one space back.
one space back.
Yeah, I agree. That would have been much safer then. That's a great point. Also, push Krusk one space up, which is a lot less safe for Krusk. To your point.
Nestle said, "Give the eater frenzy." Yeah, absolutely. That would be awesome.
True, Astro. Yeah, no ST losses until after the finals, Bean. Just so that I don't get jinxed.
Okay.
Hey, Bean, if I win this finals, that means your 2 best friends in the whole world have won the finals in a row.
Best friends. That would be pretty crazy. And then that'll mean I'll have to win the next one.
Exactly. Or your next best friend, which is Jexic or Astro or Nestle. One of those. Or Aaron. Oh no, this gate looks dead.
Kill it. Kill it.
Oh, they don't have the 3 for 3? Oh, they get the 3 for... I thought they had demand. They didn't have demand. They just kill it. Straight up. Damn. That said, they do have 8 magic, and Krusk, it is still goblins.
We got Clink out here.
Yep. Clink is such a cool...
Nothing.
Ooh, getting the sparks back. The key to winning finals is being friends with Bean. Yep.
Sorry, Astro. No dice for you.
All right, let's see if they can get the 3 for 3. Yep.
Ooh, nice.
The turtle told me this. Beasts will always roll 3 for 3. So the prophecy comes true.
Yeah. That's same with Sneaks. Sneaks always only
If 3 for
does
3. True. All right, get the big uncles back. They can get their thruster back with top wrench if they want to. Definitely worth it, I feel like.
Yeah, although I never do it just because I never ever think about Uncle Sparks' ability at all.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I've ever used, for how many Sand Goblins games I've played, I don't think I've ever actually used Uncle Sparks' ability ever.
Yeah. Doesn't come to the mind a lot.
Yep.
They're holding on to both champs here. Thune and
True.
Monstro.
Do we see a Thune siding? That'd be sick.
Thune is awesome.
Thune is sick. They also have this high boost shaman, so they could easily do either.
I got the magic,
Mhm.
almost.
Okay, we get double double thruster, Sparks Krusk. Also nice,
Yep.
10 health gate.
Oh, we got that back. No.
Oh, that's the whiff. That's a whiff.
Set up Monstro.
Yep. Oh, surprisingly, they didn't set it up. I think they're afraid of Beast Stegus dying.
Yeah, and it's actually maybe not good in this situation with the double thruster range
Yeah,
guys.
just gets kited. Meanwhile, Thune. Oh, the Thune sighting.
Thune is great.
Thune sighting. This is pretty sick. All right.
Thune getting boosted even more.
Thune, Max. Max Thune. Gonna kill this 5 gate. Let's see it, Thune.
Thune go smash.
Oh, gets
Boom.
it. Gets it.
Thune is a force to be reckoned with.
100%.
Doing a little breaker stance.
Mm. All right. The beast dies and also does the wrench underneath the beast. Ooh, that's brutal.
Thune, are you gonna go Stim Shroomin all the way up to hit Krusk?
Oh my god. There's a kill here. With the man, there's a kill here.
Oh my god. With your wrench gonna help.
I like Callback being there for support here. Callback's like, I'm joining the fun. Moral support, Callback. Oh, he needs it for demand. He needs it for demand. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, and the wrench. Oh,
Boom.
poor Aaron.
Thune go boom.
Thune go boom. Poor
That's
Aaron. Because they whiffed on the beast, the wrench rack actually was a was a detriment for him. It actually killed Crust, this wrench rat. Oh my god.
Stim Shrooms is crazy on that one.
Yep. That's so sick.
Monstro is still in the hand.
Oh, that's sick. Jack Success uses Spark's ability to get double motor for the win. That's really sick. Can you use it? I actually don't even know this. Can you use it multiple times a turn? Oh, once per turn. Okay. But I guess you had the other one on a unit or in hand. That's really sick.
Nice. Well, Thune is key.
Mm.
A lot of Thune slander has happened, and I just want to say, I never did. Thune, I never doubted you.
You were a Thune believer from the start. From the start.
You can call me many things, but I have never been a champion hater.
That is true. Have I ever heard you hate on a champion, Bean? I don't think so.
I always try and find a way. And you know what? Titus is good. I need people to come around, or if they don't, they can just keep their comments to themselves.
There
Titus
was
out here doing work.
Profit for all his Titus slander, I think won a game recently in this tournament, I think, because of Titus. I was watching it and I was like, wait a second, this guy won because of Titus. I think it was against Swampworks. Where is it? Where is this Profit game?
Right, the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
High Elf Swampworks.
Against Luxie.
Show me Titus.
Yep. Titus Raw. Boo,
Wow.
Titus, boo.
Thank you, Splish.
Jackson goes, poor Aaron losing to Fungal Dwarves and SF in this pool. That's pretty funny. Beats all the hard decks and then loses to the arguably 2 worst decks in the game. That's what Aaron gets for it's poetic justice in a certain way. Aaron didn't trust the Fungal Dwarves enough to bring them to the finals. Gets beaten by a player in the last pool who brings the Fungal Dwarves and beats him with them. There's some justice there, some poetic justice.
That's right.
Nah, I love Aaron.
Just show me Titus.
Just show
Go to
you
whatever
this.
turn he's at.
All right, all right, all right. Oh, it's spoiling. Somewhere here. What's happening in this game? How did it get to this point? Something happened. Something happened, Bean.
It's just a pretty typical game.
just another game. A very typical Swamp Orcs High Elves game. Oh, gets the 3 for 3. All right. Gets the double attack Cassia. I like how we skipped to this point. Have no context for how this even got to this point, but all we know is Titus is summoned sometime after this. But this looks very scary for High Elves.
Well, yeah. There's so many peace, and it's like that ability's not even good against Swamp Orcs. They're just all out and about.
Yep.
Emerge. Why would they ever play that event? It's a terrible event. Getting a champion out? Horrible. Nice.
Fleur failed miserably. All right, this is a perfect time to pause it. Oh, no. So, like, look
No,
at this
this-
position. Like,
this
how do
is
you
too-
win? Oh, sorry, go on.
You win with Titus. That's what you do.
I need
Look
to.
at that Art of War. I just noticed that for the first time.
Titus already doing work. Oh,
Oh, yeah. But you know what? That shaman is stuck there, can't move.
true. Very true. I need to call out Prophet in the Discord for Titus slander. Meanwhile, Titus winning him this game. Look at this. Titus has a.
Titus OP.
Titus OP.
And we don't even have to attack. That shaman's just dead with this turn.
It's actually a great point.
Boom.
This war. That war is. Nestle says the war in the bottom left is in the cuck chair. Very true, Nestle.
Yeah, that war is in timeout.
That's hilarious. Yeah, just watching all his friends get beat up. Look at Titus. Also, Titus. Titus. What am I?
Titus, you've done better before than that.
There have been so many whiffs in the past 3 turns on swords. It's unbelievable. Oh no, Titus dead. But Titus did their job. What is...
Oh my god, these melee dice just completely whiffing.
Yep. Oh, I like it. This is a fun play. All in on Muglug.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. 3 for 3 for. Oh, whiffs. But it's just.
The shaman can finally move.
Yeah, the shaman was stuck. Titus gave everyone bad luck over once they hit the board, true, including themselves.
I was like, how are they going to do this? I forgot he has a card in his hand right now. There we go.
Yep. GG's. Titus did end up carrying that game, though. I will say.
For real.
That was a nuts game. I'm also happy that we, like I said earlier, we missed half the game, just ended up in some crazy position, and it ended up being even crazier towards the end.
Yeah, we didn't need to know how it got there.
All right, what do you want to watch next, Bean? Any player or game or faction?
How about some Chosen Grove out in the final?
Ooh. More was it just Solitaire? Did anyone else have CH in the final?
Purse Warden, I think.
Purse Warden? Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, let's watch some Purse Warden as a win with them. Let's do it.
You're looking in pool 6, yeah, because we're all up.
Okay, they lost both their CH games, sadly. CH won 1 and
Oh.
4.
Wait, there's a. Did you watch the Chosen Grove versus Guild Dwarves game?
Oh, no, I have not yet. Let's watch that then.
Let's see that.
Should be fun.
I saw the Exile Vargath versus Chosen Grove game, and there's the turn where he played Uproot, and because that turn you're not rooted at that point, then he forced all of the tree all over. Bang, bang, bang attacks with the forceful attack.
Yeah, I think I watched that one on stream. That was a brutal game. It just was like the tree just got like put all over the place because of fighter.
Tree's not supposed to move like that.
All right,
Get sick. You're gonna have to take your medicine out here watching this game. This is a weird one. I definitely have never played this matchup, and I have no idea what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, I don't know either. I guess. Yeah, I don't. It could potentially be Guild Wars favored. I don't know. I mean, sorry, Tree favored. Tree is such a weird faction. I honestly just don't know.
Yeah.
They're like the best and worst faction in the game.
They are like very balanced, but then their weakness is really strong, or is like really, yeah, like pronounced in some certain situations.
Yeah, that's a great point. Oh, this is a brutal turn, especially with the 3 for 3. It's yeah, potentially clears everything.
Damn.
Yeah, I agree. But they somehow have really good matchups into like they have a good matchup into Filth, they have a good matchup into Shadow Elves. It's like very random how Tree.
Well, I play him a lot. Like I brought him to this tournament, but it is kind of a like thing where sometimes it feels worse than it actually is, and you're like really feeling your weakness, but then that just means you take 6 damage and you're still the highest health summoner in the game. You know?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And so like it can feel really stressful, but also you can work your way out of it, which I kind of like.
That's a great point.
Grandor
Grandor
under the blueprints. That could be a trap.
Grandor is kind of interesting. Or sorry. Yeah. That seems pretty. It seems pretty good in this matchup. The issue with it is it's hard to summon it twice. That's the main issue I have with the tower. Is like it's really good on the first turn you summon it, and then afterwards your opponent just hits it, and then you can't really redeploy it outside of like trying to get magic back or deny magic.
Are you talking the gate, Baldur's Gate?
Sorry. I meant the Gundar Tower, the tower, or whatever.
Yeah, you don't play that twice. It's a champion. I
Mm.
mean, you could, but in theory, but who's gonna have that much magic?
All right, the bear is down. Bean. Let's see if my bear slander is warranted. Never mind. Bear's
You're
best.
slandering the bear? Why are you slandering so much? Leave these champs alone. The bear's fine. He's not the best, but he has his place.
I want
Now
the.
just killing it with these forcing away from the defenders.
True. Ooh, bear lives. All right, bear
Oh,
broken.
Bear moving up.
Bear does have a good spot in this. Just 4 dice in general, just really good. Kill majority of cards.
I just think people need to, like, when they say things are bad, it's just like, it's just bad in some situations, and you need to play this faction enough to realize that what situations this is good in. Bear's definitely one of them.
True.
But like Eater is another thing like that. I just wish Eater had a little bit more health in that. Oh my god, Bear.
Bear is so good. Bear's MVP so far.
Bear going back in the deck.
Yep. 4 dice and back to deck. This bear has that super value. Oh, even
Whoa.
boosts it. Damn.
Why are you doing that?
He thinks the bear is invincible. I mean, I don't blame him.
No.
Bear gone.
Oh dang! Is he not gonna put anything in front? Stag Rider coming up? Nope, guess not.
Nope.
Kill
I
that defend that engineer. Kill it.
Dice on the catapult's good. Ah!
Oh, what were you saying, Chairs, about this tower not being able to be summoned multiple times?
True. Damn, I've been wrong this entire game about bear, about tower. I'm just. You're right, Bean. I just don't know anything about champions in this game. It's
You're just a slanderer.
True. Very true. Ah!
Oh, that is insane. Whoa.
That is What do you go for? Yeah, you definitely go for the tower. What am I saying? This thing's too threatening.
Too threatening. It's done like 1 total damage.
Over being summoned twice, yeah.
It is threatening. It just isn't actually doing any threats.
Yeah, it was 6 magic spent on 1 damage done or something. It's a tragedy.
Get that bearer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if this were Chairs, he'd be hitting these. Yep.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
there it is. There it is.
Oh, there it is again.
Oh my god. With the squiggle also.
Yep. Nimbit uproot at 20 HP rip. Yep. Oh.
Nope. Some Titus rolls.
Unless the sad thing about Nimbit is if you play against SC, it's like you're uprooted at 20 health, but you can't actually do anything. SC just has a one single fox or a giant tree. Who wins?
Yeah. Fox in the forest.
Yep. But I guess it's not actually the worst matchup because you do have some ways of seed bearers are just really good in that matchup. And also you have a pretty good range game as a. I think you summon. I think shoot Stonemate's not too bad because you have Odric, which is super good in that matchup, and you just have a lot of really good range units. Odric is really good against SC.
I think I've played that matchup before and won it, but I can't remember actually. The double cash.
Double cash.
Shit.
Ooh, uproot. Gonna get some damage on Alden. Nice.
Engineer is locked over there. Cannot move pictures.
Yep. It's just stuck.
There's no escape.
Yep.
Oh, it can move a structure.
Gets the guard.
Ooh, late blueprint.
Alright, the big hit here. Actually, no, they would still. Oh, live one more turn.
Nimid still at 20 health is crazy.
Nice play getting rid of the Stag Rider. Definitely worth it. Ooh, get to clear all the units.
Dang.
Sad thing is that potentially they just have no more units.
Yeah.
Limit at 20 health.
Limit at 20 health. 20 versus 1.
20 versus true. Very true.
Grandola.
Gundar. Oh! This is some damage here. Yeah. Could have had 6 more range damage on him that turn. Someone informs Snag that you win by destroying the enemy summoner.
What? Oh, there we go.
Nice. Seed Bearer. Seed Bearer doing work. Wait, what happened that? What?
I think he just left himself open.
Why did... I'm confused. Huh? He just suicided? I'm done with this game. He said...
Yeah.
Snag said, I'm done with this game. I'm very confused.
What did he have after that? Did he have something in... No, he didn't have anything.
He didn't have
in his
anything,
hand.
I don't think.
He
He
was
had a
gonna
supply
lose.
cache. Yeah, he was gonna. You're right. You're right. Nimbus is just too strong.
Unless there were some serious whiffs.
I like how he doesn't forfeit though. He's like, you go for it. You know, the tree deserves it. I guess the thinking there is if you completely whiff, you have 3 attacks, but even then, you're dead. I guess you could supply cache. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. You could double supply cache.
Yep.
There's a world. There is a world.
0 for. I've missed it. Have you missed a 0 for 4 yet on swords? In your long. You have. Okay, cool. Have you done a 0 for 5?
I can't remember. So probably no. 0 for 4 is a killer. 1 for 4 also a killer, but it happens so much with Vargath. I feel like with Sunderfed, where he's going after a 3 health thing and then gets a 2 for 4 or 1 for 4, and it's like, ah, jeez.
Oh, you got the. Yeah.
No, 5 for 5 range. It would have been a 0 for 5 melee.
If it was a Stuart, you'd have been so happy. 10 damage, 10 damage, Stuart or Zyruk.
Stuart, like Stuart Little.
True.
All right, cheers. I gotta dip out of here.
Sounds good. Thanks for playing, Bean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for being me.
That was fun. Yeah, we should definitely do some more stuff. We'll do. I like Massimo's idea of the custom deck thing, so we can do me versus you, or you versus someone else, or we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I would be down for that. I bet Jexic would be too, and just like as a live game type of thing, that would be cool.
Agreed. 45 minutes. Yeah, we could do Jexic versus you. We could plan something out. That'd be a lot of fun. Watch you guys both pick from the same pool, commentate. It'll be like a live commentating thing. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Peace.
See you later. You did a 0 for 6 with Abomination. That's really funny. I mean, it's one of those things where at the time it's frustrating, but in retrospect it's funny. 0 for 6. That's like super unlikely also. What are the odds of 0 for 6? I don't think this thing will even save. Yeah. It's I mean, we could calculate it, right? What is it? It's It's 1 for 6 to the oop. Yeah, it's some very low number divided. Let's reverse it. Oop, what am I doing? Mathing correctly. What am I doing wrong? I don't really use this, do I? Anyways, too sleepy. But yeah, math is hard. Yeah, 6 to the 6th. How do I do this on Google? Inverse. Anyways. Don't make fun of me, guys. Alright, we can do it this way, actually. This is probably the way of doing it. It's because I don't know how to do this on Google. Yeah, that's 1 in 46,000. That's nuts. That's absolutely absurd. I only do hot takes. True, true. I agree, Astro. I'm the same. I only do hot takes. To the -1. Yeah. Thanks, Splish. Good point. I think we have it here. It's 1 in 46,000. But yeah, thank you. Do we want to watch any other games? End with a Dark Thromi game. Sadly, they lost both their Fallen Kingdoms games in the last group. I'm down for Eternal Council or a Dark Thromi Fallen Kingdoms game. Specifically Dark Thromi, just because I know he's going to play aggro. No, Jexic, my Joe emailed us yesterday night. Our games will start tomorrow morning. So after tomorrow morning, I won't stream until the games are done, just because I don't want to spoil a matchup. I think part of the fun of the Joe and Colby streams is to see what matchups are chosen. Just give us the game link so you can watch them live. Nah. Joe told me specifically I can't spoil anything. Most likely, if the games finish early enough, which they should, I think he said the games will be streamed on the 9th, April 9th, April 8th or April 9th, I forgot. Probably April 9th, because that would be the Thursday, right? Yeah. We won't tell. I'm excited for them. It'll be fun to play against Exile. It's also, like, I really like Exile, so I don't really care who wins. I think the main thing I'm trying to do is just win with Storm Goblins. If I can win with Storm Goblins, I'm happy. Win or lose, I'm happy. As long as I make the games fun and competitive to watch. More than that, I don't really care too much, to be honest. I get my $50. That's all that matters. Or $60. Oh my god, $60. Damn. And live. Oh damn! If I get a runner-up, I will not live forever as a legend. That's funny. If your winner will get a $90 and will live forever as a legend of Summoner Wars Online. True. Some of y'all are procrastinating. We need some more top division lively games to finish. True, I agree, Splish. Good to call him out. Wait, you called this a month ago? Jexic called it. He's like, Jexic, I remember even before the game started, it was like, there's a good chance both players from my group from Pool 3 make it to the finals. We had a tough one. This is a nuts Pool 3 or Round 2 group. But again, like, getting to the finals is a lot of luck on my side. Good matchups. No SC. I'll leave it to good matchups. I'll leave it to a few things. Good matchups. No playing against SC. Some coin flips went my way. And then I think I chose 4 good factions for the tournament in general. Like, I think SG, Ivy, Cloaks. Stormgom is a little bit tricky, but the top 3 have no bad matchups, really. SG, Ivy, Cloaks are they're just solid against everything. And Cloaks especially, I think, is just busted, to be honest. I think it might be the best tech in the game currently. Especially, I think Filth overall are a better deck, but I think Cloaks are better, or equal to better. I think overall Cloaks is better just because they have a really good matchup into Filth. I think Filth are in a vacuum better. Maybe not even, to be honest. I think Cloaks are just busted. I think Cloaks are just, really strong. Yeah, no, I think Filth suffer, and I listened to your podcast again, Astro yesterday actually when I was on the train, or 2 days ago when I was on the train. I think Filth suffer from range where they are ridiculously good because of, as you have put, and as Vexer has put, Bestial and Spew, and also, they have very good assassination, but they are limited. Unlike Cloaks or unlike, Sand Goblins, unlike, other top tier factions, Shadow Elves, they're limited by the range of Flying Mutant. The only thing which really compensates for that is Abomination. Super Abomination is really good, but that requires multiple turns of setup versus Cloaks can do the exact same range in a single turn with like 2 magic. No, that was a very fun podcast. Yeah, Jexy, I think the nerf was actually like they were even more busted before the nerf, of course. I'm not trying to say that before, but I think because before the nerf, everyone would always go for the exact same playstyle, which was, super machinist in the corner. And I think someone pointed this out before. I think it was Bean or maybe it was you or I forgot who. I don't want to. This was not my own thought, but someone pointed it out before that people are basically not using Cloak's other tools and potentially playing Cloaks unoptimally just because how easy and how sort of formulaic and how just good in general Super Machinist was. But when you get rid of Super Machinist, it requires you now to use your other tools in the deck, and the other tools in the deck are ridiculously good. Like I said, like beforehand, people would not really play Admiral because you just discard Admiral just for more magic and also searching for Mega Machinist. Um, Versus now people are playing more Admiral. People were not like there's certain turns where Super Machinists or certain matchups where Super Machinists was not as good as Super Gunner or Super Sniper, but people weren't doing that just because everyone was so focused on Super Machinist. So I think the main reason Cloaks are so strong is they have all the tools in the world, and then also I think compared to any other top tier faction in the game, besides maybe Shadow Elves, they're the magic required to play this deck is almost nothing. Like the dagger should be 5 definitely, and then they have basically a 0 cost, 2/1 cost, and a 2 cost. Like this deck requires 0 magic. Their other champion is also 0 magic. The most expensive thing in the game is Admiral, which you don't even need. And you like to summon Admiral. Usually, I just have to discard like two commons. Usually it's a sniper or two. I discard. Um, and then this has tools like for almost it can play it passive, it can play assassiny. All it needs to do is get a few damage on a summoner. I think this deck is the strongest deck in the game, to be honest. Um, in my current opinion, I'll say. I could be wrong, but currently I think it's the strongest deck in the game. I think they just have tools for everything. I could argue IV played at a high level might be stronger, but I think IV suffer from just being a lot more expensive. But that's currently my thoughts. And of course Shadow Elves, but I think Shadow Elves again is another hard deck to play. Uh, and also Shadow Elves don't really like they have assassination tools similar to Cloaks, but they don't have the like their burst is really strong, but they don't have the Cloaks level burst. If that makes sense. Simpson needs 2 more attack. Agreed. Poor dagger. Yeah, smoke bomb exactly. That's a great point, Jexic, about smoke bomb makes putting hand cannon and boots and other things good. Agreed. No, cloaks are definitely not buffed. They're nerfed 100%. But just I think it forced people to play them differently. Um, when you talk 1E more than anything else. Nah, I think a lot of the 1E was cut out actually. Uh, Probably during the actual chat you guys talked about it, but in the actual podcast, you don't really hear too much about 1E. You just hear like on the side, like, oh, we should stop talking about this and get back to filth. Yeah, I agree. Without Shampoo and Vexer, I don't think Shadow Elves are S tier. Just because I don't think people have put the time into it. Like, I think there are people who are good at them, but I think this is a faction where you do have to, like, similar to Guild Dwarves, it's like a faction where you do have to spend, like 50 games on it and really master them. Because I don't know anyone who's played them um, to the same level, like late game especially. I think they're just very hard. I mean, they do have like all the characteristics of a very good faction. They have a lot of very cheap commons. Um, Tome is a ridiculous ability, uh, but yeah, I think they're very hard to use. So wait, Aaron cut our 1E talk. That's how I got me. Yep, yep. You don't hear anything about 1E, sadly. When you actually, yeah, when the release podcast is very little about 1E. Um, I think Fallen Kingdoms are really good. I don't think. Huh. I want to do a tier list. Do I want to do it now though, before I stop the stream? Okay, I'll do a quick tier list. And then, of course, this might change based off me and Exiles matches, but I don't think it'll probably change too much. Um, Also because I haven't done one yet. Where did I put the tier list maker? Here it is. Quick tier list. I'm trying to get DS number 1, so they have to come me again. Well, I'm trying to get number 1 DSR so they can have me on again. So you can talk about 1 anymore? No, I'm kidding. All right. Let's do a quick tier list based off this tournament. What I currently think. All right, so Breakers. I think Breakers need a buff. We'll keep these tiers. So basically, S tier. I'll do this. A tier. D tier needs a buff. By that I mean like two cards plus changed. C tier are cards which need. C tier are decks which I think need 1 change, probably a small change. B tier decks are decks which I think are relatively solid. I don't think anything needs to change about them. I think they're just fundamentally decks which will have lopsided matchups just based off how the deck functions. And I don't think anything needs to change about them, but they will be slightly weaker or stronger based off the current pool of decks and the current meta and, what decks I'm playing against them and what decks I've watched play against them. A tier are, I think, solid decks. So this will be, spoiler, Sky Spear Avians. Just decks which have a chance against every other deck. Very 50-50 decks. Yeah. Decks which are all around, very solid. They can play aggressive. They can play defensive. I think, again, my definition of tier list is very similar to Prophets, where it's, how many options does a deck have? I think currently, at least in Summon Wars, I think in the future there might be decks released which are just amazing at defensive play, in which case, and they have no aggro, but because of how good they are in defensive play, that they are the top tier deck. But I think Platt has done and the playtesters have done a good enough job not to have that happen yet. I'm gonna scream at anger on the screen for the next 10 for the next 10 minutes. All right, so Breakers. I think Breakers are really good. I just think they suffer from. If you want to buff Breakers, I would just, to be honest, I would just make it so their events are all 0 cost. Make Blast 0 cost. I think a very radical change, which would have a big effect on them, but might be warranted. Might make them too strong. But if you really want to change Breakers, I would make it so that Deceivers are 2. This would be a really busted 1 cost, I will say that. But maybe because everything is range dice, they do need a really busted Deceiver to balance everything else out. Because I can't really see. I think everything else is good. I guess you could argue Kalal down to 6. I would say that maybe is another buff. You can make Kalal 6 magic instead of 7. I think 7 magic is a little bit too overpriced for her currently. I think she's really, really good, but I think 7 magic is just really expensive in this deck. I think Wallark is good. I think Massimo does a good job showing the strength of this character. I think the entire theme of this deck is really good. Gul'dan is a really fun card. I could also argue Gul'dan to 5 and then just Make it a 5/4 maybe, something like that. But yeah, I think the main thing, just blast zero cost, I think would be the main thing to change with this. We have to make a tier list for Grata. Next up is Cave Goblins. Cave Goblins I think is B tier. By that I mean, maybe it's C tier. Eater needs to be changed, I think, but I think Cave Goblins is, by my definition again of B tier, is that they're a really good deck. They just fundamentally have something wrong with them, which will never. I don't think they need a buff or a nerf. Let's say it that way. You could argue for an Eater buff, but I think in general, Cave Goblins is just like I wouldn't change anything about Cave Goblins. Let's say it that way. Eater, besides Eater, um, Eater I would change, but in terms of like they just are fundamentally the way they're designed going to be a flawed deck where draw orders matters a lot. But I have a lot of fun playing them. And when I play them, I never really feel like I'm completely out of the game. I mean, there are some matchups like Fallen Kingdoms where you just feel lost, and will always feel lost. But it is what it is. Next up is High Elves. High Elves, I think, are A tier. Very solid deck. They take a lot of time to really get used to. Very hard to play, but I think they have all the tools to do whatever they want to. Main thing they suffer from is what they're good at, just auras, right? If you can abuse auras. Also, it's always hard with High Elves to know the balance of keeping, like, how much value do you get out of Valeria? And I think that's one of the hard things to deal with the deck. Yeah. Zero cost brass and breakers are good. Yeah, I can see that, Astro. Maybe 1 cost 3 HP, 2 melee deceivers. Yeah, I can see that also splish. That's it. I think the 3 HP might not be worth the extra 1 AV dice, just because the purpose of deceivers is just to be annoying. And they are really good. Like, deceivers are probably the best common, or one of the best commons in the game, in a vacuum. And you can see that in like base tech, where Prophet has won, I think, 1 or 2 custom deck games, where he literally, all he does is he puts deceivers and the peace aura from High Elves in the same deck, and it's just like the most obnoxious shit in the world. Like, really hard to deal with. Yeah, I don't think that you can change commons too much. Chosen Grove, I think that's solid B tier. I think it's a really, like, maybe you could argue changing Bear, but I think in general it's just really good. It's gonna just have bad matchups just based fundamentally off the way the deck is designed. Cloak's already explained that S tier. I need to debate whether it's top of S tier or not, but I think this deck is way too cheap for how good it is, and has like it can play aggro, it can play defensive. It just is super good. Um, Crimson Order, A or B tier? I think it's B tier. Let's order this. Cave Goblins bottom. Chosen Grove, I think I put above. Crimson Order is just very solid faction. It just suffers, it's just, I wouldn't change anything about it. It just will always lose to some, there's some matchups it'll just be bad against just because how the deck, it just has weaknesses which are part of the mechanism of the game and part of why it's fair. So it is what it is. Again, like I said before, I wouldn't change anything below B tier. Guild Dwarves, argument for S tier. I'm gonna put it the same as High Elves. I think people will get better. It could be in a future, like in a year from now, like Vexer has told me that I'll say this is S tier as people get better at the deck. I think the way Guildmaster plays them is very fun. I think the way he seems to play them is he really doesn't play too many guild defenders, and mostly just focuses on their structures and bringing them back. And I think that's most likely the best way of doing it. Maybe you only summon like 1 or 2 guild defenders per game, and the rest you discard for magic, because it is a pretty like Bean showed, especially. I mean, to be fair to Bean, he didn't have any blueprints and I got some very good luck. But in general, it is a very magic hungry deck, and the more 2 costs you play, the less of your other really good commons and abilities you can play. Yeah, I could see that, Astro. Yeah, I think it has the potential. I'll put an S tier. I'll put it bottom of S tier just because I agree with you. It does have the potential. I think High Elves are not S tier even by the best players. I think that it is top of A tier potentially. But I agree. Guild Wars, I think, as people get to learn them more, I think have a higher ceiling than high elves do. So I'll put them there. Avians. Interesting. It's either going to be bottom of A or it's going to be top of B. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to put it bottom of A right now. As I said before, I think the main thing, Avians are one of the most well-designed factions in the game. They have so many different tools, aggressive, defensive. I think the main thing they suffer from is the surprise factor outside of their champions. Their champions allow you to do some really surprising plays, but outside of that, they're very easy to predict. The other thing is divers, I guess. The other cool event which they have is, which is not the easiest to play around, but you can play around it, I'm so bad with names. Is a Gathering Song. Gathering Song, you have the chance to do some really cool plays. So I'll put them. I'll put them bottom of A tier. I think. Cool. Phoenix Elves. I think they need a small change. I'll put them above Breakers. I think these could easily be bottom of A tier, top of B tier. I think just make all their abilities, make all their events 0 cost. No reason that there's no reason that Blinding Flare is 0 cost. I mean, 1 cost. Like, this should be 0 cost. And I think the deck would be very solid. I wouldn't change anything else, really. I think all their champions are really good. Their commons are really good. There's an argument to change Evermage a little bit, but I think also in a matchup where Evermage is bad, just discard them all, summon a Fire Drake, right? And that usually solves it. So, wouldn't change too much about this deck. Just main thing is 1 change, Blinding Flare. Wrath gets the birds in the extra tier. Yeah, Wrath is really cool, Hergrata. I think the issue with Wrath is that you need to save up 7 magic. Or is it 6 magic? I forgot. Either way, you have to save up that amount of magic. And like when you have that much magic as birds, like it's hard to argue, like unless you're against Crimson Order, in which case you have infinite magic. But like I can either summon Wrath or I can summon, 3 Sentinels or 3 Stewarts or a combination of both, right? And I think that's why it's really hard to summon Wrath. Is just Stewarts and Sentinels are such good cards. It's really hard to deal with it. Divers are such a cool card. Anyways, I think bottom of A tier makes no sense. I think they do have some cool tools. They can play every style, and just flight in general. I think it's like I wouldn't change anything about this deck. It's just a very cool deck. Deepwood Groaks. I think I put them B tier. Potentially below. If I could put them A tier also, but it would be just below Avians. But I think right now I'll put them top of A tier. I mean, it's top of B tier. Sorry. I think they suffer, and I'll have to play more with them, and it could be one of those things where when I play more with them, when I see people play more with them, I'll put them in A tier. I think the main thing they suffer from is they just have a slow starting speed, and especially in a meta where a lot of people are playing fast factions like Drake's and Rebellion, Wayfarers, factions like that, which are in your face within 3 turns. I think that's the main weakness of Groaks. That said, I think the change to them was perfect, and I wouldn't change anything about them currently. Drake's and Rebellion. I put them. I think I put them tied with Avians. Do I put Avians higher or lower? I think they're A tier. They do what they do very well, especially with their weaknesses being covered by their weaknesses being covered by whatever that 6 cost champion is, which burns everything. Cole Inferno. Especially with their weaknesses being covered by Cole Inferno. I think they are a great example of like an aggressive faction done well. Same thing with Wayfarers. I am going to put them below Avians. Yes. I'll put them like this for right now. Forged. I think for Forged, it's hard for me to be partial to Forged just because I play factions which are really good against them. So I play Sand Goblins and Storm Goblins, which are both just 2 of the worst matchups for Forged. So my opinion of them will, of course, be worse than if I played other factions. Frogs are somewhat dependent on Swift Potion unlocking. Yeah, that is true also, Splish, that they are very dependent on their draws. Fire Drake 2 less magic cost. Ooh, that'd be sick. I wouldn't be against Fire Drake costing 7 instead of 8. I think it would be definitely more value than, but it would be kind of cool. Like I kind of like Phoenix Elves being strong, to be honest. And I think that'd be a cool way of making them strong and just giving them like a very. I actually kind of like that Hergrata. Two magic less would probably be too much, but one magic less, 7 cost Fire Dragon would be kind of cool. Like same exact stats. I think that'd be cool, and it wouldn't make them like S tier. I think fours are A tier, but I'm gonna put them bottom. I like how I said I was gonna put Avians bottom of A tier, but apparently not. I could also argue for no. I think fours are definitely A tier. Yeah, I like this so far. Play DSR for your Dragon Fix. True, true. Fungal Dwarves. Huh. Would I change anything about Fungal Dwarves? To be honest, no. They're B tier. I'm trying to think. What am I more scared of? Probably this, to be honest. That might seem ridiculous to people. I just think Fungal Dwarves have really good, a really good kit, and I think especially, of course, you got lucky. It could be that recency bias after watching the Aaron game versus Solestral. But it's really cool to see him play more like a range game fungal. I mean, Fungal Dwarves commons are just. I mean, that's why Vexor puts them S tier. Like their deck is really good. You know, they have assassination tools. They don't. You know, they have movement tools. The main issue with them is just majority of factions released recently are just really good against them. Like that's what Fungal Dwarves suffer from the most. I'm not sure if I'd actually change anything about them though. Yeah, modular is really good. Yeah, really. Again, Forge is one of those like experts at Forge are just so good, and they do so many cool things. So I can't put them B tier because I think they just have a lot of tools. They are of course limited by the inventor having 10 health and also like the inventor's movement, but similar to Drake's on Rebellion, like they have tools which good players can use to compensate for their bad. Like they can win against every faction, and I've seen them win against every top tier faction convincingly. Filth or S tier. I'm gonna put them above Guild Wars, below Cloaks. Fallen Kingdoms. I think current Fallen Kingdoms are S tier. I think I'm gonna put them below Filth though. I think current Fallen Kingdoms, 14 health ret, have a lot of different tools. Can go Assassiny, can not go Assassiny. I think the main thing I see is that I think, and we'll see if I'm wrong. I could be horribly wrong in the future. I think, and this is something actually Donkey did really well like 3 years ago before anyone else did, and this is before the Fallen Kingdoms nerfs. I think the main thing which I am not seeing by really good Fallen Kingdoms players, which is understandable because a lot of them have not played that much. Ret has 14 health. No reason you don't push up with Ret Talus. Like I want to see more early game Ret Talus, middle of the board, surrounded by a gate. Donkey was so good at that, and I understand you only have 3 movements, and especially it's a deck which requires a lot of repositioning, a lot of multiple attacks, so it's hard to find the movement to move Ret Talus forward. But I do think, and I could be completely wrong on this because look, I don't play too much Fallen Kingdoms myself, but based off my own experience with Fallen Kingdoms, based off seeing a lot of players, I think even really good Fallen Kingdoms players right now are playing way too far back with Ret Talus. And I'd love to see the Donkey forward push with Gates Ret Talus. I see people do that late game, but I think you can easily do that early game and really be oppressive. So could be completely wrong on this take, but that's my take currently. Where's the chili emote? Oh, I do need to add emote. That's something I'll try to do this weekend, Astro, is add more emotes. Eternal Council, I think it's A tier. I'm gonna put it. I put it same tier as Drake's If I could have like an equal sign, I would say Drake's and Eternal Council are the same. I'm gonna put them slightly above Eternal, or slightly above. Or sorry, I'm gonna put Drake's Son slightly below Eternal Council. But this is in my head. These two are equal in terms of power level. Um, Eternal Council. I think Lime has convinced me after watching him play them. This is very solid deck. Has lots of different tools. Main thing they suffer from is that they are a faction which is dependent on their summoner, Edia. Um, that said, they have lots of ways of. They have a lot of really good. I also think. I also think Ovi is a champion which makes a lot of sense in that deck. I think they're what's that guy's name? I think one of their champions, Malinar, has really no place in this deck. Like it's a really cool event and it's a really cool champion, but it really doesn't have a place in this deck like thematically. I think they were trying to think about like Fear from Mind Knights and trying to extend on that with Malinar, but usually it's like I don't know. Like it's one of those things that's just like a win more champion where you're already winning, you summon this and it does a lot of work, but um, in general, like I much rather summon Ovi or they have really good commons. All four of their commons are really good in different situations. So um, and Katu has this place. Yeah, I think the only thing which I would potentially change, maybe not even change, is I think this champion has really no business in this deck. But I don't mind that's there. There's other decks which need more work in my opinion. Malinar. Yeah, I think also the reason which I think this is that Eternal Council, as you said in the podcast, has a good matchup into Filth. I think it's much higher than these ones. I mean, hmm, maybe I'll do a revisit afterwards once everything's put together. At its highest level, Shadow Elves I put A tier, in S tier. Uh, I think Filth are a better deck though. I'd put them here. Yeah, I think currently I'd put them somewhere here. Um, yeah, that makes sense to me. Isle Vikid, I think are S tier. I think they're just really hard to play. I'll put them with Shadow Elves somewhere here. Put them here. It's hard. S tier is hard. S tier is hard to put together. I could make, to be honest, my honest thoughts are probably this. Like, I think at the highest level, I think this is probably correct. Like, if you just had expert players. Guild Dwarves are probably higher, except I don't think anyone's reached that level yet. Guild Master, I think, is the closest, but I don't know anyone else. I don't know. I think there's still lots of room to grow. Malinar. Malinar is cool. I guess it's time to bully Splish. No, I think it's a really cool ability and a really cool champion. I just don't know why you would ever summon it. Is my point, I guess. Like again, it's a win more. Like if you have enough magic to summon it, unless like it's the only card in your hand and you have like a ton of magic, like I don't know. It just feels like usually you're gonna win before its ability matters. I guess is my point. Um, in majority of games, like usually like majority of games that you win, the discard by it is not. I mean that's not always true. It can be useful very situationally. I guess is the point. Um, Sand Goblins. Uh, 1 second, guys. I need to answer the phone quickly. All right, I'm back. It is solid stats. That is true. That is a good point. But like, think about other 5 costs. Specifically in Sand Goblins. I mean, to be fair, Sand Goblins probably has the best 5 costs in the game, um, which is yeah. Maybe that's a bad comparison to be honest, because Slits is arguably the best 5 cost in the game. Argument for the best champion in the game. Cunning is just such a ridiculous ability. So maybe you're right. I could be convinced otherwise on the Eternal Council. I'm going to put this like this. Oops, sorry. I'm going to put Drixen above Eternal Council. Sand Goblins. Sand Goblins are S tier, definitely. I'm going to put them the same. I put Sand Goblins and Shadow Elves the same tier, to be honest. I think these are about the same. Equal sign here. I'm going to put Sand Goblins above Shadow Elves currently because I think there's better. Currently, there's I think people are better in the community at Sand Goblins than they are at Shadow Elves. Yeah. Mountain Vargath. I think this is top of A tier. I think people have gotten really good at this deck. Exile is a good example, but not even just Exile, I think. You have Bean, you have Davood, you have Massimo, you have so many different good players who play at Mountain Vargath. And I think they just have, I don't think they're S tier, but top of A tier, definitely. Fae. Fae are an interesting one. I mean, obvious answer is D tier. That said, I think it's very easy to overbuff them, especially as people have become more specialized with them. Like you can see, I mean, not just Exile, like everyone who bring them have been doing really well with Fae. I think ideally, in the best case scenario, Fae are B tier faction where, they have their weaknesses versus some factions, but, overall they're solid factions. Like I would love my thinking to be Cave Goblins and Fae to be the same. In a certain way, I do see them as the same. I'm going to put them D tier, but I could be completely horribly wrong about this, but I'll put them D tier. Yeah. If Sherez doesn't put SG into S tier. Sand Goblins are this. No, I think Sand Goblins Shadow Elves are the same tier. Spectral Conclave. I think they are behind Cloaks for best deck in the game. They do have some really bad matchups, specifically Avians, but that said, even they can win every single matchup, let's say it that way. And in some matchups they're unwinnable, or feel like they're unwinnable against. You can make an argument. I'll put them. Yeah, I put them in the. I have a triple T here. I'm gonna put them in the Isle Wicked Filth tier. Spectral Conclave, Isle Wicked Filth, all tied together. Cloaks, not super above them, but definitely slightly above them. So I'm gonna say Spectral Conclave, Isle Wicked, maybe in this order. Spectral Conclave, Filth, Isle Wicked, all same tier. As well, and I'm gonna put them in the same tier as Sand Goblins. I'll put this all in the same tier, to be honest. I think they're the same as Sand Goblins, Shadow Elves, played at a high tier. So I basically S tier is like Cloak slightly above everything else. The next 4 or next 5 in the same tier, Fallen Kingdom slightly below them, and Guild Dwarves are honorary S tier, just because I think that people will get really good at them. Savannah Elves, I'm going to put Fallen Kingdoms tier. I think they're definitely S tier. Have tools to do against every other faction. A little bit hard to play based off economy. I do think Isle Wicked are just a better deck than Savannah Elves are, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to put them above Fallen Kingdoms. But I think this is about right. Yeah, I think this is about right. I think Savannah Elves, I could argue, are in the Spectral Conclave tier. I could also argue that they're in the Fallen Kingdoms tier, or at least slightly above Fallen Kingdoms. You can't tell me that they're worse than the Breakers. Yeah, I think Fae are worse than the Breakers. I think Fae just have too many useless... No, that's not true. They don't have useless events. They just have way too many situational events. Like, basically, besides the only event you're gonna play in every game both of are Spearhead. Like, besides Spearhead, like High Tide, you're probably gonna discard one unless you're in a very aggressive game. Rebuke is completely situational. Waden is completely situational. Yeah, and then also they suffer from also the Cave Goblins. Cave Goblins have B tier, but Cave Goblins, I think it's part of their deck, but they suffer from the Cave Goblins. They need the correct draw to be good in the game. So yeah, I think D tier is correct. That said, this doesn't mean that they can't beat, like, if you have the right draw similar to Cave Goblins, they can beat any other deck in the game. And if you're good enough at them, as shown by this tournament. Um, OD are bottom of B tier. I wouldn't change anything about them. That said, I think they're they are by the draw of the deck. Yeah. Uh, OD are the bottom of B tier. Nothing should change about them, but I think that they are not the strongest deck overall, unless they just pop off. In which case, but that's it. All these decks can pop off, right? Um, Polar Dwarves. Polar Dwarves are in Chosen Grove tier. No, they're Crimson Order tier. I'm gonna put them below Crimson Order. I'm trying to think what am I more afraid of facing? Maybe I switch like this. Yeah, I think this is a good order. Maybe like this. Yeah, I think this order makes more sense. Okay, I like this order more. Polar Dwarves in between Crimson Order and Chosen Grove. I think I wouldn't. The only thing I would potentially change about Polar Dwarves would be, I would potentially, Nydia, I think, needs a little bit of a buff. Potentially 3 spaces. That might be too strong. If you don't do 3 spaces, make her a 3 range. I don't think it. Of course, it'd be very strong, but at the same time, I think Nydia needs to be strong. I think this card is underpowered. Everything else, I think, is nice in this deck. IHRM combos are amazing. I think everything else works very nicely. I think Nydia would be the only thing I would change. Potentially +1 dice or within 3 range. Situational, yeah, but they have summoning phase to draw to get more cards. Someone to get exile on the line. I need backup. I agree, Astro. I know your hatred of OD. Uh, yeah, I do think the changes to Fae are just minor, and also I don't want them to change Fae too much, otherwise they'll be completely busted. So it's a hard deck to. I put it in D tier, but hesitantly, because I will say I think Fae, in terms of scariness for me to face, I think Fae are honestly like right below Drakesun. Like I think if I face Fae, it's here, just because I assume they have all the worst cards like I think their draws are perfect, right? Same thing with Cave Goblins. Like Cave Goblins are also here. But I'm just talking like how the matches usually go. In terms of scariness, definitely Fae are much higher than D tier. But that's because you're always assuming that their draws are going to be perfect, etc. Swamp Orcs. Are they above Mountain Vargath? You could argue here. I think Swamp Orcs are a better deck than, or have more. I think Swamp Orcs have worse, like Mountain Vargath really have no bad matchups. That said, the highs of Swamp Orcs are higher than Mountain Vargath. Oh, it's hard for me to decide this actually. I'll put them with Fallen Kingdoms. Yeah, something like this. This is hard. Swamp Orcs I could easily also see being an A tier, to be honest. Yeah, but if I put Fallen Kingdoms here, I feel I should put Swamp Orcs. No. I'll put Swamp Orcs top of A tier. I think that makes more sense for their home. Cool. Storm Goblins. The Goblin Nose. Interesting. I know where I want to put them. I'm just trying to think of the order. I don't think I've ever been afraid of facing the Fae, but that could be my factions. I think ever since I saw that when Fae were released, I saw that Ben 10 versus Prophet game where Prophet looked completely winning, and then just Ben 10 just had this perfect hand and one-shot Krusk. I always have a little bit of afraid of them, just because I'm always afraid they have that crazy hand where just my summoner explodes in a turn. And also it's hard to calculate against them. I guess that's the main thing in my head, which leads to their scariness, is that if they have the perfect hand, it's just like one of those things you have to be like, so be it. which I think I value a lot. I do value a lot of unpredictability or like inability to calculate, their turn. All right, people are gonna find me crazy, but I'm gonna put Storm Goblins A tier, and I'm gonna put them maybe next to above Forged. I think that's a good one. I think this makes sense. They have their drawbacks. I think they're better than Forged, to be honest, in my opinion. Just have more tools. I mean, they both have matchups they're better at than each other. I was gonna put them here, but the more I think about it, I think maybe something like this. Yeah, I'll do this. I think this is a good order. Storm Goblins, I think, if you know different matchups, can play different ways and have the tools to face everything. Similar reason why I'm going to put Tundra Orcs same level, same tier. Tundra Orcs, again, can beat every faction. Do I put them above or below Storm Goblins? I think Tundra Orcs are easy. No, easier is the wrong word, but I think... Which one has more tools? Hard to say. I think these are about the same. I'd put all 4 of these around the same. Maybe Forge at the end. Yeah, I also don't know where they are, Astro. I mean, you can even argue them to be like low S tier. I could argue that they're as strong as Fallen Kingdoms are. I could put them here also, with certain logic. I think Swamp Orcs is also interesting. They just have the problem about Storm Goblins is they're so polarizing. Like, they just lose to Tundra Orcs or Wayfarers. That said, I do want to, now that I'm better with them, I do want to play against Nestle to see how it feels. I think I'm just going to get crushed again, but potentially slightly better. But I think Tundra Orcs is such a bad matchup. But, I mean, the problem is, like, outside of Tundra Orcs, like, let's say, they have Isle Vikid is annoying, Tundra Orcs is bad, Wayfarers is bad. But outside of that, do they really have any, like, terrible matchups? Not really. You could argue Cloaks is really bad if Cloaks play it correctly. But everything else seems fine. So if there's only, like, 3 good decks against you, I think that's a solid A tier deck, at least. I don't know. It's hard to say. I agree with you, Astro. It's just hard to say. I think they're yeah. I put them in the somewhere here. Was Wayfarers mentioned? Yeah, Wayfarers is last. Vanguards. I think Vanguards need a slight buff. I do think they're strong though. Above Breakers, I think Breakers need the buff more than Vanguards do. That's it. Vanguards are kind of in the Shimmer Sea Fae category where ideally they're in the B tier. I think if they get to A tier, people will start hating on them as they do Crimson Order. So I don't think, I never really want to see Vanguards A tier or above. So I think they just need like one more slight buff and they'll be in a good spot. Maybe top. I'm going to put them top of C tier because I think they're fine as is. No. I think Phoenix Elves are better. I'm going to put them. I just don't know what the recent. I haven't really faced them since the recent buffs. Somewhere here. I'm going to put them in the middle just to be safe. Somewhere here. They need like one slight buff and then they'll be perfect. Wayfarers. If you would ask me, a while ago, like a year ago, I would say Wayfarers are like B tier. Currently, I think Wayfarers are S tier. I think they are below Fallen Kingdoms. I think they're like the bottom of S tier. Top of A tier, bottom of S tier. I'd put them in the maybe top of A tier is the more fair place to put them. Somewhere here. They're either bottom of S tier or top of A tier. I think they have a really good matchup into Swamp Orcs, which is partially the reason why. But they never feel bad. They have really good matchups into almost everything. Yeah, I think they're bottom of S tier. Does Wayfarers have a bad matchup? I can't think of one off the top of my head. They have some like this is an annoying matchup, but I don't think they ever have like a bad matchup. Fungal Dwarves I think is one, but no one really plays Fungal Dwarves. But then the question is why don't I put Mountain Vargath also same tier? I don't know. T.O. played by Nestle, true. Good thing Bean is not here, true. Now there's C tier. No, I think Wayfarers is bottom of S tier. Top of A tier, bottom of S tier. Because they just don't have any bad matchups, to be honest. They do really well into Cloaks, I think, is probably 50-50. Filth, they have a, 50-50 to favorable. Spectral Conclave, they have a good matchup into. Owl Vicket is... I'm not actually sure about that matchup, so I don't know about that. Sand Goblins, they have a good matchup into. Shadow Elves, they have a good matchup into. Savannah Elves, they have a decent matchup into. Fallen Kingdoms might be annoying, but even then, we can go for Assassination. I think Wayfarers are bottom of S tier, to be honest. I can't really... I think Swamp Orcs have worse matchups, let's say it that way, than Wayfarers do. Even though Swamp Orcs have higher highs sometimes. The question is, where do I put Mountain Vargath then? No, I think this is fine. Maybe I'll swap it like this. Yeah, I think that... Now I'm happy. Yeah. I think Vanguards is very hard to deal with when you're newer to the game. Or I know you started last year, Splish. I think Vanguards you just need to watch because the problem is also not a lot of people play Vanguards, so it's hard to know how to play against them. But once you kind of know how to, anytime you see Celeste get and can do damage to her, get damage on her, clear one unit at a time, try to deny magic, position your units so that they can't punish them. Because the Vanguards have outside of Vanguards, I mean, now with the new Jacob, it might be a little bit different, but in general, Vanguards have a trouble with range, similar to Crimson Order, right? So usually if you have problems with Crimson Order, you'll have also problems against Vanguards just because it's very similar, where both of them, their weakness is they lack mobility. Vanguards at least have that one event. Vanguards at least have 2 turns of Renewed Hope, which can be very unpredictable and, can increase their range, but you can still mostly play around it. Okay, I could be convinced that Vanguards are OD tier. I could see this. I can't really think how I would buff them, so that's why I'm leaning towards listening to Astro and saying that they're tied with Obsidian Doors, where they are not the strongest, but I wouldn't change them. Yeah. Jacob's criminally underplayed. Yeah, I could see that. Okay, Splish and Astro have convinced me. Chosen Grove is hard. Cave Goblins. Yeah, Chosen Grove I heard is a bad one. Cave Goblins is a really bad one. I can understand that, yeah. Still, I think Chosen Groves and Cave Goblins are underplayed factions who are also thought to be weaker, so that doesn't really detract me too much from Wayfarers. It's part of the reason these decks are on S tier is because they also have good matchups against other S tier factions. All right, let's go through let's go through the tiers if I would swap anything up. I'm gonna move our Alvika down. Do I move Sand Goblins up even one more? Hey. Oof, that's a hard one. I think my bias is showing here. There's an argument for this, to be honest. But because I'm a Sand Goblins lover, I'm not gonna do that. I think Fallen Kingdoms S tier. Agreed with. Guild Wars I think will eventually be S tier. Wayfarers I'm gonna put top of S. Like I said, I could easily see this. I don't see really a difference here. Like this is a nice transition. It's only because there's an S tier. But I just can't put Fallen Kingdoms in S tier. Fallen Kingdoms might be a stronger deck. Okay. I will put Wayfarers top of A tier. I will do this. My SF and Vanguard Crusade will continue until another day. Rebuke is top one. Okay. I'm gonna put Savannah Elves over Shadow Elves currently, just because of players. I think this is good. A tier. I'm happy with it. Yeah, I'm happy with A tier. Tundra Orcs, Swamp Orcs I could interchange. Eternal Council I'm fine with. Forge I'm fine with. Groaks, I think top of B tier makes sense. Fungal Doors I like. Crimson Order I like. Polar Doors I like. Chosen Grove could be a little bit higher, to be honest. I could swap. I could put Chosen Grove in front of Crimson Order, but I won't. Cave Goblins I like. Okay, yeah, no, I really like this list. I think this is currently my thoughts on the power ranking based off the decks I play, based off the replays I've watched. I think this is the tier list. And again, my top tiers are usually S and A tier are based off just you can go aggro, you can go defensive. Also, you just have like it's just very hard to calculate against you. Yeah, I think the only reason I'm putting Filth above Sand Goblins is because Abomination is a card. If Abomination did not exist or Abomination was one less health, I think Sand Goblins would be the stronger deck. But I think Abomination makes me put Filth there. Spectral Conclave and Cloaks are above Filth just because they are harder decks to calculate. There's just too many things you have to calculate against them. Isle Vikid I could see being higher, but their skill ceiling is just really hard because of same thing with Savannah Elves, just discard economy with both those decks is hard to deal with. Shadow Elves could also be top of it, S tier or close to top of S tier. Yeah, I think I like everything. Cool. Based off the games you watch, shouldn't Filth be lower because you only watch our losses? True. But that's only 50%. It's also when you and Exile beat me up with Abomination. You, Exile, and Jexic all beat me up. The Toop Drop 1 event is Volcanic Blast was attached to Balzar's RNGS. True. Very true. All right, guys. I am getting tired, so I will call it for tonight. Yeah, I'll be streaming more when the finals are done. I hope to have. Yeah, I'll try to do my best to have a fun series with Exile. I'll try to do my best to also get Storm Goblins the last win, so I can say I went undefeated with Storm Goblins. In a certain way, if I had lost to Askril, it would have been a perfect ending because then I could say I'm undefeated. That said, I'll just beat Exile with Storm Goblins and then I'll be as good, if not better. But yeah, should be a fun series. Yeah. Thanks for coming, guys. Feel free to message me. I've been trying to look for different ideas. I think I have ideas at least for the next 4 or 5 streams. But if you have any ideas for streams I should do, let me know after the tournament's done. Try to keep the community excited and alive before, because I know people will start coming back again once the 2 new factions are released. But in the meantime, might as well try to get people engaged and excited about Summoner Wars. Thanks so much, Astro and Splish and everyone else. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Gonna try to get some good sleep tonight so that I'm prepared tomorrow. I'm kidding. I have work in the morning. Main reason I need sleep. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.